Hey, welcome to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Check out our playlist for more amazing novels and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new audiobook. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 21 Conspiracy, Sudden Choice. Clatter. A gust of wind blew, and the woods rustled. Shihouin Naraku and Shimura Danzo stood there, staring at each other calmly. The two leaders did not speak or move. Yamanaka Yu and the Anbu members stood in front of Shihouin Naraku without hesitation. Now that they had made their choice, they had to walk down that path firmly. Even if the hostile ninja standing opposite her was her brother, she would not back down. The sun in the sky had been blocked by clouds at some point, and the light shone through the clouds onto the earth. A cold atmosphere filled the surroundings. Shihouin Naraku and Shimura Danzo were still staring at each other. No one was going to back down, and the atmosphere began to become increasingly solemn and dangerous, with the two of them at the center. Yamanaka Yu tightened the sword in his hand, ready to strike at any time. Yamanaka Kazan Aburame Togen beside Shimura Danzo bent down slightly, ready to fight at the same time. Feng, you guys retreat. Perhaps because he did not intend to turn against each other at this time, or perhaps because he lacked confidence, Shimura Danzo finally took a step back. As Yamanaka Feng and Aburame Togen were completely brainwashed, they immediately withdrew and retreated behind Danzo after hearing his order. Shihouin Naraku raised his eyebrows, which was both reasonable and unexpected. Maybe Shimura Danzo had seen that he would never give in, so he gave up. Anyway, Naraku is young, so it's understandable that he is more arrogant. After all, if you are not young and energetic, how can you still be a young person? Shimura Danzo had already retreated, and Naraku had no intention of dealing with him here and now, so he waved his hand, and Yamanaka Yu and the others retreated behind him. You've grown up so fast. I should have asked you to be my subordinate. Shimura Danzo looked at Naraku with no change in expression, and the cane in his hand paused slightly on the ground. Danzo's hidden meaning was very clear. Naraku, even if you wanted to join the root organization, I would not have looked down on you. That's a shame, but I don't like roots. No, it's not that I don't like it, it's that I hate it. Shihouin Naraku was harsh in his words. Where is the root organization now? You are telling me this. He didn't plan to continue talking nonsense with Shimura Danzo. Their relationship was not going to get better anyway, so he might as well just see who would win in the end. Just when Naraku was about to turn around and leave with his subordinates, he saw Shimura Danzo wave his hand, and Yamanaka Feng and the other two immediately dodged and retreated, disappearing in the blink of an eye. What's the meaning? Is there something you want to tell me? Then Naraku asked Yamanaka, you and others to go back to Anbu to complete the task, while he stayed behind. Naraku was not worried that Shimura Danzo would attack him directly. As a well-known figure in Konoha Village and a person who held a high position, if Shimura Danzo killed him, it would mean betrayal of the village. If Danzo wants to get rid of him, he can only indirectly cause Naraku's death like he did with Hitaki Sakumo. What do you want to say? Shihouin Naraku spoke directly. Since there were only two of them here, he meant to speak his mind. But suddenly, Naraku's hair stood on end, alarm bells rang in his mind, and he entered a state of combat. In an instant, violent murderous intent was about to spread out. But fortunately, Naraku regained his composure the next second. Shimura Danzo looked at Naraku's reaction with some confusion, and put down his hand that was touching his bandaged right eye. What's with Naraku's reaction? Wait, did he know something? Danzo's face was gloomy, but no matter how he thought about it, he felt that Naraku should not know what was happening to his right eye that was wrapped in a bandage. I thought you were going to take action. Naraku waved his hands casually. His reaction just now was indeed a bit excessive, but there was nothing he could do. Shimura Danzo had a Mangekyo Sharingan in his hidden right eye. Those were the eyes that Danzo stole from Uchiha Shisui. And this Mangekyo Sharingan houses the strongest illusion in the ninja world, distinguished heavenly gods. Distinguished heavenly gods can silently interfere with the consciousness, causing the enemy to be completely controlled unconsciously and lose autonomy. That's why Naraku overreacted. He thought Shimura Danzo was going to use distinguished heavenly gods on him to control his consciousness, so he was ready to kill him in an instant. There was nothing wrong with Naraku's answer, and Shimura Danzo reluctantly put aside his doubts, but a person as extremely suspicious and cautious as him would never completely trust anyone. It is conceivable that Danzo will secretly test Naraku in the future to find out what he knows. This attitude is understandable because distinguished heavenly gods is related to many of Shimura Danzo's plans and hides many of his secrets, and he would never let anyone know this. Some time ago, Hiruzen asked me to. Shimura Danzo stopped talking and simply told them everything about Sarutobi Hiruzen's previous discussion with them about the 5th Hokage candidate. Why? Shihouin Naraku was stunned, he really didn't know about this. Sarutobi Hiruzen actually planned to make him Hokage. Although he is a candidate, Naraku is confident that Kakashi cannot compete with him. As long as he can become a candidate, the position of Hokage will definitely not fall into the hands of others. But the sudden news also disrupted Naraku's plan and caught him off guard. After all, in his opinion, the 5th Hokage would definitely be Tsunade. Around this established fact, he secretly did a lot of things. Splitting up the medical emergency team was one of them, in order to wait for Tsunade to return and bring more benefits to himself. But now he was going to become the 5th Hokage himself. A bit sudden. Seeing Shihouin Naraku obviously upset, Shimura Danzo smiled inwardly with satisfaction. It was indeed not beyond his expectations. This is normal, all the ninjas in Konohagakure dream of becoming Hokage. If you take a look around a ninja school, you will find that 9 out of 10 students who have not yet grown up also dream of becoming Hokage. This dream that has been established since childhood is an irresistible temptation for any Konoha Village ninja. Even Shimura Danzo himself is like this. In his heart, becoming Hokage is an unshakable obsession, and he doesn't care about giving up anything for it. So in his opinion, Shihouin Naraku would certainly not be immune, and the opponent's current performance was indeed correct. Hee. With a smile on his face, Shimura Danzo turned around and slowly walked away with his cane. You must be excited to hear this news. But you still have a rival, Hitaki Kakashi, go and compete with him for that position. With these thoughts flashing through his mind, Shimura Danzo slowly walked away and disappeared. This guy. Watching Shimura Danzo's figure disappear, Shihouin Naraku was speechless. He really never forgets his conspiracy. Danzo did not hide his thoughts at all and told Naraku clearly that he wanted Naraku and Kakashi to fight hard for the Hokage. This is an open conspiracy. Even if ordinary people knew Danzo's intention, they would not be able to break free. The temptation of Hokage was too great, and no one dared to say that they were not tempted. Even Shihouin Naraku couldn't say that he didn't have any ideas, but he thought differently from the others. He wanted to be Hokage just to get a chance to win the lottery and break through his limits to become stronger. It's a bit troublesome. I need to think about it carefully. Naraku frowned and thought, but he couldn't make a decision in a short time. Adult. Yamanaka-yu suddenly appeared and woke up Naraku, who was in deep thought. Oh, you haven't gone back yet. Let's go back together. Naraku knew that Yamanaka and the others were worried about his safety, so they did not leave, but just waited in the distance. They saw Danzo leave, but Naraku stood there for a long time without moving, so they came over. Chapter 22 I am Uzumaki Naruto's new bodyguard. Konoha Anbu Base. Sitting in his office, Shihouin Naraku was thinking about something. Lying back on the chair with his feet on the corner of the table, Naraku swayed slightly. Mitokado Homura and Udatane Kaharu are worried about the fading of their power, so they oppose my candidacy and support Hitaki Kakashi. The 3rd Hokage should be more inclined towards me, otherwise Nara Shikaku wouldn't have supported me. He must have seen what Sarutobi Hiruzen meant to say, and that's why he spoke up. Shikaku is a smart man. Although Danzo didn't say it, he definitely doesn't support anyone. He himself wants to be Hokage. The information that Shimura Danzo told Shihouin Naraku was not very detailed, but Naraku eventually guessed the general details. So, my chances of becoming Hokage are actually greater than Hitaki Kakashi. Wait, am I going to be an instructor to Uzumaki Naruto and the others? Naraku scratched his head, looking annoyed. The news immediately disrupted his plans. No, the Konoha collapse plan will happen soon. No matter who is chosen, Tsunade will still be the 5th Hokage. Not necessarily. After the Konoha collapse plan took place, Konohagakure suffered great damage. According to the original work, it lost a large number of outstanding ninjas, led by 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, and more than half of the combat power of the entire Konoha village disappeared. This kind of extremely heavy loss was really not something that Hitachi Kakashi could handle. In addition, he had not been the instructor of the Uzumaki Naruto ninja team for too long at that time. In several aspects, he was indeed not as good as Tsunade in becoming Hokage. But now with Shihouin Naraku, the situation is different. With him, the losses in Konoha village will definitely not be as great as before. In this case, with Naraku's strength and qualifications, he can really leave Tsunade behind and become Hokage directly. Anyway, the 3rd Hokage would have died by then, and the dire situation in Konoha village would not allow for any delay. In this way, Naraku might really become the 5th Hokage. After all, there is a difference between Shihouin Naraku and Hitachi Kakashi. What the hell, the more I think about it, the more likely I am to become Hokage. Various thoughts were running through Naraku's head. He tried his best to deduce the changes in the future. With him in the world, everything might be different. Actually, I'd be fine with being the Hokage, I have nothing against it, but Naraku's view on the Hokage position is only related to the system lottery qualification, because it has benefits and can improve his own strength. Of course, if he really becomes the Hokage, he will perform his duties normally. System, if I were to be promoted directly from my current position to Hokage, how many draws would I be eligible for? Question mark. Host can get up to 5 lucky draws. The minimum is 3 times, and the maximum is 5 times. The one who becomes Hokage is the one with the most times. But this is a loss for Naraku. After all, his position can be promoted from Anbu Deputy Captain to Captain, and from Deputy Medical Director to Medical Director. Even if they are the lowest reward qualifications, he can accumulate 6 times. This is the promotion plan Naraku has set for himself. But if you become Hokage directly, there is no need to say more. The most important thing is that after becoming Hokage, you need to stay in Konoha village for a long time. It will be troublesome to do other things because you will be watched everywhere. Thinking of this, Naraku also had a headache. Becoming Hokage now would have too much impact on him, and there were many disadvantages but not many advantages. No, we still have to follow the original plan. Hitachi Kakashi leaves Anbu and becomes the instructor, and I will become the Anbu Captain General. When Tsunade returns and becomes the 5th Hokage, I will become the head of the medical department, and in addition to the future positions of assistant to the Hokage, this will maximize the benefits. After thinking for a long time, Naraku made up his mind and decided to follow his original plan. Becoming Hokage directly is a huge loss. This poses a huge hidden danger to the improvement of his strength. Naraku has never forgotten how dangerous the late Hokage world is, with cage-level enemies popping up all the time, not to mention the mysterious Otsutsuki clan. So for him, improving strength is the most important thing. Then the most important thing now is to ensure that Hitachi Kakashi becomes the instructor of Uzumaki Naruto and the other 3. Naraku must now get himself demoted from the 3rd Hokage. Let me think. Before Shihouin Naraku could figure out how to get himself eliminated, the order from 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen arrived. What the hell? You want me to be a bodyguard for Uzumaki Naruto? Naraku was completely stunned when he received this task. No, couldn't the 3rd generation old man have already decided to make him a candidate for Hokage? Big things to do. After quickly coming out of the Anbu base, Naraku prepared to go find the 3rd Hokage. It would be a good idea to directly refuse the position of Hokage, etc. Because he was thinking about something, Naraku didn't hear anyone calling him at all, but ran quickly towards the Hokage building. It was not until Hitachi Kakashi appeared beside him that he reacted. What? I have something to do today. Is it time to go look after Uzumaki Naruto? Helplessness flashed in Hitachi Kakashi's dead fish eyes. He also received orders from 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. How did you know? It turns out we all accepted this mission. Naraku heaved a sigh of relief when he realized what was happening. It turned out that things had not been finalized yet and there was still time. I see. The third-generation old man intends to use this mission to see who is more suitable to be the instructor between him and Kakashi. Okay, done. Naraku was relieved now and followed Hitaki Kakashi to find Uzumaki Naruto. Ninja school. Ha! Shihouin Naraku almost laughed out loud because he saw an extremely funny scene. Uzumaki Naruto, Nara Shikamaru and Akamichi Choji were angrily kicked out of the classroom by Yumi no Iruka and made to stand in the aisle as punishment because they slept in class. As a result, the three of them did not learn their lesson at all. They chatted in the aisle, ate snacks, and even fell asleep while standing there. Hitaki Kakashi, who was standing aside, had no smile on his face, but looked at Uzumaki Naruto with a complicated expression. Swish. Kakashi is an adult. Naraku is an adult. Tenzo appeared on the lush tree where Naraku and Kakashi were standing. After all, it was a mission, so he greeted them respectfully. Just do your own thing and don't worry about us. Yes. Tenzang glanced at the silent Kakashi. At this moment, Hitaki Kakashi was in a state of depression and had no intention of paying any attention to him. Naraku waved his hand and Tenzo had no choice but to leave. When Tianzang returned to the ninja team he led, he immediately attracted everyone's attention. You two adults should have other tasks, let's continue. Yes. Glancing at the hiding place of Tenzo and the ninja team, Naraku had no intention of getting involved with them. Whether it was protection or surveillance, these people had their own rules to follow. The Yamanaka clan's Perception Ninja and the Hyuga Branch House Ninja are really suitable candidates. The ninjas from these two families were indeed suited for surveillance or protection, and Uzumaki Naruto basically could not escape the sight of these people. By the way, Naraku stroked his chin curiously. He remembered something. The ninjas of the Hyuga family are the perfect people to monitor and protect Naruto because of their Byakugan. Have they discovered that their eldest daughter, Hyuga Hinata, likes Naruto? At this time, Hyuga Hinata was the heir of the Hyuga main family, and his status was not low. Could it be that Hyuga Hiyashi has long had the idea of making Uzumaki Naruto his son-in-law and enjoying a married life with people rolling their eyes all day long? Interesting. Chapter 23, Different Views and Differences. These two guys are really. Sarutobi Hiruzen was holding a pipe and exhaling a puff of smoke. In front of him was a crystal ball, on which were two figures. Master Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi. Sarutobi Hiruzen was observing the two's movements through the telescope technique. He had often used this ninjutsu to monitor the entire Konoha village. Originally, Sarutobi Hiruzen asked Naraku and Kakashi to temporarily become Naruto's bodyguards, just to see how they performed and to decide who would eventually become Naruto's instructor and Hokage candidate. Now it seems that neither of them is reliable. Naraku was leaning against a tree trunk, and looking bored. It seemed that he didn't take the mission seriously at all. Kakashi was even worse off. He had been daydreaming for a long time. Others couldn't tell, but Sarutobi Hiruzen knew what Kakashi was thinking at a glance. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen had the intention of eliminating both of them. Naraku didn't take it seriously, but Kakashi's problem. Sarutobi Hiruzen put his pipe aside with some worry. After so many years, Hitaki Kakashi still hasn't gotten over the past. This is a big problem. Even if there is no such thing as a Hokage candidate, with Kakashi's current mentality, he is not even qualified to be a Jōnin. Alas, each has its own advantages and disadvantages. Let's see. Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi were both hidden in the dense branches of a large tree, and their figures could not be seen from the outside. Naraku, who was leaning against the tree trunk, occasionally glanced at Naruto who was dozing in the school corridor, his mind full of random thoughts. But then he was speechless. Hitaki Kakashi fell into his own depressed atmosphere and hasn't come out of it yet. That's enough. Hey, Kakashi. Naraku stepped lightly on the tree trunk under his feet, and the slight shaking movement finally woke Kakashi up. I know those things hit you hard back then, but after all these years, you still haven't recovered. This can't go on. Kakashi looked at Naraku's serious expression. He knew that he couldn't continue to be immersed in the memories of the past, but such things were beyond human control. Okay, stop being sad. Ninja school is over now. Naraku and Kakashi watched as the bell rang for the end of the ninja school, and the children ran and played as they left the school, laughing. This scene was very lively and interesting. The adults waiting at the entrance of the ninja school also picked up their children one after another, but most of them deliberately avoided the location where Uzumaki Naruto was. They said harsh words and taught their children not to play with Naruto. The ninja school gradually became quiet. Uzumaki Naruto watched the adults take their children away one by one. He could only walk home alone. Looking at the lonely figure in the sunset, Naraku frowned slightly and followed Kakashi. Gulp. Looking at the steaming and fragrant street stalls, Uzumaki Naruto swallowed involuntarily, then he reached into his pocket, and the clinking of several coins made him give up his idea. Forget it, I don't like eating these either. There are a lot of instant noodles at home, and I like eating instant noodles. As if trying to convince himself, Uzumaki Naruto tried hard to divert his gaze, but the saliva about to flow from the corner of his mouth betrayed him. However, the owner of the snack stand soon saw him, and a look of disgust and resistance fell on Uzumaki Naruto, making his expression darken, and he immediately turned and ran away. He should have money. Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi stood in front of the food stall. Of course Hitaki Kakashi saw what happened just now, but he was a little confused. The village must have given Uzumaki Naruto living expenses. Didn't you see the look in the stall owner's eyes? Besides, he probably has no money right now. No money. Hitaki Kakashi was a little confused, but he reacted without Naraku's reminder. Indeed, Konoha Village gives Uzumaki Naruto living expenses every month. Not to mention his other identities, just because he is the orphan of the fourth Hokage, no one dares to take the money. Another person who sends living expenses to Uzumaki Naruto is Sarutobi Hiruzen. He visits Uzumaki Naruto at the beginning of every month and gives him living expenses. But the problem is, how old is Uzumaki Naruto? He doesn't know how to spend money or save money. After receiving the living expenses, it didn't take long for him to spend all of them, and this is what a normal child would do. However, as future Uzumaki Naruto grew up and became a ninja, he did start to save money, until Jiraiya took his money and went drinking. Uzumaki Naruto ran home and ate a simple bowl of instant noodles, then slipped out without staying at home. Because that home was too deserted, Uzumaki Naruto would feel lonely when he stayed there. Only outside could he feel that there were other people in the world, even though those people often looked at him with hatred, disgust and resistance. Crack. Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi pushed open the door and walked into Uzumaki Naruto's messy home. There were sundries piled everywhere, unfolded blankets, and instant noodles with only the soup base left after eating. The chaotic scene that came into view was Uzumaki Naruto's home. It's a little outrageous, but he's only 12 years old, so it's understandable. Naraku looked around the room. It had to be said that the house was not big, but the various living facilities were actually barely sufficient. After all, there was even a refrigerator. Kakashi looked at everything around him silently, then walked in, picked up the bottle of milk that had just been finished on the table, and saw the problem at a glance. What's wrong? This milk is expired. Naraku was stunned, then he thought he seemed to have seen this scene somewhere before. Third Hokage is going a bit too far. Naraku opened the fridge and looked at the milk filled inside. Uzumaki Naruto's life shouldn't be like this. This is because Uzumaki Naruto's identity is very important. Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen appeared, smoking a pipe, and he walked slowly into the room. Ninetales Jinchuriki can't have any problems. Shihouin Naraku looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a look of disapproval. He pointed at the scene in the room. In addition to being the Ninetales Jinchuriki, Uzumaki Naruto is also the son of the fourth Hokage. The descendants of those who sacrificed for the village should not be subjected to such hardships. Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression gradually became solemn, and he did not continue speaking. The three of them fell silent. To be honest, Shihouin Naraku really couldn't understand how everyone in the ninja world felt about the tailed beast's Jinchuriki. It is simply unimaginable that they use people as weapons but do not treat them well, allowing the tailed beast Jinchuriki to be bullied, hated and resisted. It is dangerous in itself, and he is desperately stimulating the tailed beast Jinchuriki, fearing that this super nuclear bomb will not explode. According to Shihouin Naraku's idea, it is a normal reaction for the tailed beast Jinchuriki to go berserk. After all, it would be strange if they could be stable if you treat them like that. Chapter 24 Naruto's First Contact. I know how important Nine-Tails Jinchuriki is to Konoha Village, but this treatment is definitely not good. Shihouin Naraku knew Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't like what he said, but he said it anyway. Shihouin Naraku used to be very strange. It would be understandable if Jiraiya was away all year round and didn't know Naruto's life. But Hitaki Kakashi is in Konoha Village, why doesn't he care about the son of his master and his mistress? But after arriving in the Hokage world, Shihouin Naraku realized that this was because Sarutobi Hiruzen personally ordered to hide Uzumaki Naruto's identity and forced no one to get close to Naruto. Subscribe to Chinese novel Audio Wave. Kakashi was physically and mentally injured due to the successive blows, and coupled with the Hokage's orders, he was naturally unable to take care of Naruto. Only this could explain why 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato's companions and friends hadn't shown up, not to mention taking care of Naruto or occasionally lending a hand to help him. But Shihouin Naraku could never understand why Sarutobi Hiruzen blocked the news of Uzumaki Naruto 4th Hokage's son's identity, but allowed the rumor that he was a demon fox to spread. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't have much to explain to Shihouin Naraku's confusion, he just looked at him deeply and said, I am the Hokage, these are the decisions. Hitaki Kakashi opened his mouth but said nothing in the end. After Sarutobi Hiruzen left, Hitaki Kakashi sighed with a bad look on his face, you just said that. I don't think it's anything, it's just the truth. Shihouin Naraku pointed at Hitaki Kakashi and looked at him with some ill intentions, just wait until Naruto grows up. These things can't be kept secret forever. I'll see how you face him when the time comes. If Blood Red Chili hadn't passed away, do you think Kushina would have beaten you to death with the chakra chains from adamantine sealing chains? Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina were so nice to you in Obito, and you two are ruining their sons. Face it. Hitaki Kakashi laughed bitterly, my life is a mess myself. Shihouin Naraku glanced at Hitaki Kakashi with disdain. The two took one last look at Uzumaki Naruto's room and left. Soon, they found Uzumaki Naruto in the hills behind Konoha Village. I just went fishing. Yeah, I'm all wet, and my clothes are hanging on a tree nearby. Seeing Uzumaki Naruto shirtless, already collecting a pile of firewood and preparing to start a fire, Shihouin Naraku thought for a moment and stepped out from his hiding place. It seems that he doesn't really like instant noodles, he just eats them because they are convenient and cheap. Naraku, what do you say? While Hitaki Kakashi was speaking, he looked to his side and was surprised to find that Shihouin Naraku, who was originally beside him, was gone. Looking back, Hitaki Kakashi was horrified to find that Shihouin Naraku was actually walking towards Uzumaki Naruto openly. At this moment, not only him, but even Tianzang and the ninja team who were secretly vigilant were confused and didn't know what to do. Do you want to stop it? But Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi have other missions. But, really? Hitaki Kakashi scratched his head in annoyance, thought for a while and sighed, then also walked out from his hiding place. In the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had just returned, looked at the scene shown on the crystal ball and smoked his pipe silently. Hey, why isn't it lit yet? Uzumaki Naruto scratched his short golden hair, feeling a little discouraged, but he immediately continued to blow air towards the woodpile. In order to make a fire, Uzumaki Naruto made himself a little embarrassed, and his whole face looked like a tabby cat. Perhaps because he was concentrating on making a fire, he didn't even notice that Shihouin Naraku was standing in front of him. You need to leave some space under the woodpile so it can be lit. Who? The little yellow-haired boy was startled by the sudden sound. He immediately jumped 3 feet high and shook his head around looking for someone. As a result, Uzumaki Naruto saw a black-haired young man sitting on a rock nearby, holding a branch in his hand, and on the branch was the fish he had just caught with great effort. Ah, that's my fish. This. Shihouin Naraku waved the branch in his hand and gestured to Uzumaki Naruto. Yeah, I just caught it. Uzumaki Naruto stretched out his claws, which had turned black, to show that he had indeed caught the fish. As he spoke, Uzumaki Naruto approached Shihouin Naraku tentatively. He was very keen to find that the man in front of him was different from others. There was no hatred or disgust towards him, which made Naruto very happy. Aside from a few people like Iruka-sensei and Grandpa Hokage, this person actually doesn't hate him. Do you want to eat it? If you want, I can give it to you. I can catch more. I'm very good at it. I can often catch big fish. Uzumaki Naruto didn't seem to care at all, but the expression on his dark face betrayed his thoughts. Naruto was worried that this person would reject his fish. Shihouin Naraku smirked as he watched Uzumaki Naruto strike a pose showing how impressive he was. I wasn't planning on paying you back anyway. I'm hungry too. After saying this, Shihouin Naraku placed the branch with the fish on it on a nearby rock, indicating that the fish was his and no one else could take it away from him. It turns out that adults are so cunning. Uzumaki Naruto pretended to be angry, but he couldn't hide the happiness on his face at all. Oh, who told you that adults are cunning? Shihouin Naraku snapped his fingers and a flame fell into the woodpile. The flames immediately rose up and began to burn. Shikamaru told me that adults are very cunning and troublesome. Uzumaki Naruto explained casually, his eyes sparkling as he watched Shihouin Naraku put the skewered fish on the fire and started grilling it. He had just seen it, Shihouin Naraku's action of lighting the fire. This was something only a ninja could do. It must be like this. This sounds a lot like something someone from the Nara clan would say. Does the uncle know Shikamaru too? No, I know Shikamaru's father. Wait, what did you call me? Shihouin Naraku suddenly raised his head and looked at Uzumaki Naruto fiercely. He pointed at his face and emphasized, look at my face carefully. Am I an uncle? Hey. Uzumaki Naruto was not afraid at all and still moved closer. He was the best at distinguishing other people's emotions. Although Shihouin Naraku's tone was bad, there was no malice in it. It was more of an attempt to scare the children. Why are you getting so close? Shihouin Naraku curled his lips and then returned his gaze to the grilled fish. Hey, big brother, were you performing a ninjutsu just now? Are you a ninja from the village? Uzumaki Naruto blinked and stared at Shihouin Naraku expectantly, but his dark face at this moment made his expression look a little funny. Big brother. Never mind. I'll accept it reluctantly. You mean this ninjutsu? Shihouin Naraku opened his palm towards Uzumaki Naruto, and with a puff, flames burned in his palms, and the dancing flames illuminated Uzumaki Naruto's dark face. Wow! Uzumaki Naruto shouted in surprise for a moment. He stared excitedly at the red flame in Shihouin Naraku's palm, his expression full of longing. The firelight was not dazzling, but it was very warm. At this moment, the haze in Uzumaki Naruto's pupils was dispelled. Chapter 25 What Hokage? I am the strongest. The forest behind Konoha. Shihouin Naraku and Uzumaki Naruto sat in front of a burning bonfire. The firewood in the fire crackled and the fresh fish that had been grilling for a long time began to emit an enticing aroma. Uzumaki Naruto was talking to Shihouin Naraku with great interest. The sizzling grilled fish did not draw his attention away. At this point the two had already known each other's names, and to Uzumaki Naruto he felt he had gained a new good friend. Shihouin Naraku's eyes fell on the grilled fish, and he picked it up and turned it over. It's almost ready to eat. Go wash your face. Oh. Uzumaki Naruto jumped up, ran quickly to the river, scrubbed his face and hands vigorously, and then ran back like a gust of wind. Get your coat here first. It will dry faster by the fire. Good. Uzumaki Naruto was really obedient. He would do whatever Shihouin Naraku said, for he was afraid that he would make Naraku angry and lose this new friend. It smells so good. Shihouin Naraku cut the grilled fish in half and ate it without hesitation, while Uzumaki Naruto also held the grilled fish and ate it with relish. It's really strange. Uzumaki Naruto was very curious. Why did the grilled fish he made for so long not taste good? Why is the grilled fish I made so bad? Ignoring Uzumaki Naruto's curiosity, Shihouin Naraku looked back and saw Hotake Kakashi standing behind a big tree not far away, and he didn't know why he didn't come out. Hotake Kakashi also had a headache, mainly because he really didn't know how to face Uzumaki Naruto, nor did he know what to say to him. So he could only watch Uzumaki Naruto and Shihouin Naraku in the dark, sitting in front of the fire and eating grilled fish, and Hotake Kakashi himself felt very miserable. Hey, that guy passing by, can you help me buy some food in the village? Hotake Kakashi was looking at the two of them, but found Shihouin Naraku waving at him. He pointed at himself unconsciously, and then saw Shihouin Naraku nodded to confirm that he was not mistaken and was talking about him. By this time Uzumaki Naruto had been awakened and turned his head to look at where Shihouin Naraku was waving and immediately saw Hitaki Kakashi, who had no choice but to come out from behind a big tree. Who is this person? When did he show up? Hitaki Kakashi's appearance is still very attractive, especially since he uses the Konoha forehead protector and mask to cover most of his face, leaving only one eye exposed. So all of a sudden Uzumaki Naruto kept staring at Hitaki Kakashi, making Kakashi feel a little uncomfortable. Shihouin Naraku raised an eyebrow at Kakashi, indicating that he did it on purpose. Please, brother. Go and come back soon. Blinking his dead fish eyes, Hitaki Kakashi turned and left under Uzumaki Naruto's curious eyes, then quickly walked to the place where Tenzo and the ninja team were hiding. Tenzo looked at Hitaki Kakashi, who appeared in front of him in a daze, and then he heard Hitaki Kakashi say to him, "Tenzo, you are my most recognized junior, and I will leave the shopping to you, hurry up." So you have to bully the juniors you recognize, right? Hitaki Kakashi-senpai, why don't you take a look at what you are talking about? Of course, Tianzang could only mutter these words in his heart. However, Tianzang's reaction was not slow. He turned around and looked at the ninjas in the ninja team, with an expression that said, "Shang Zhuan, the task of buying things is now handed over to you. Hurry up. A higher-ranking official can crush people to death." The Anbu ninja codenamed Shang Zhuan looked at his boss speechlessly, then turned around and quickly ran towards Konoha Village to buy things. There was no other way. For the Anbu ninja, orders were orders and they had to be completed. As a result, an extremely rare scene appeared at the food stalls and snack shops in Konoha Village. The Anbu ninja, whose entire body was hidden in robes and masks, swept away a lot of food at a whirlwind, threw down some money, and disappeared in an instant like a gust of wind, while the guests and the boss present had not yet reacted to what had happened. The food was passed along the way, from Anbu member Shang Zhuan to Tenzo, and then from Tenzo to Hitaki Kakashi, and Hitaki Kakashi handed the food to Shihouin Naraku. "Sit down, why are you standing?" Shihouin Naraku opened the packed food and placed it in the middle of the three people. "Naruto, eat together. You gave me half of the grilled fish just now, so I'll treat you to a meal." Uzumaki Naruto didn't reach out, but looked at Shihouin Naraku hesitantly. Even he could see that the fish he caught couldn't compare to all the things in front of him. Shihouin Naraku also saw the embarrassment in Uzumaki Naruto's heart, so he simply took out a bunch of meatballs and bit them in his mouth. "Eat quickly, I tell you Naruto, I am very rich. I am the Jōnin of Konoha Village. Jōnin, you know, are very rich." Hitaki Kakashi also picked up a snack and put it in his mouth. Anyway, Anbu will reimburse the money for these things, so it would be a waste not to eat them. However, Shihouin Naraku was right when he said that he was rich. Although he didn't know the exact amount, Hitaki Kakashi knew very well how rich the medical emergency team was, and as the supervisor, it was impossible for Shihouin Naraku to not have some money in his hands. Uzumaki Naruto's eyes lit up and he came closer. "Brother Naraku is a Jōnin. That must be very powerful." Shihouin Naraku raised his head, looking extremely proud, and boasted, "There are few people in the entire Konoha village who are stronger than me. A brat like you who is still in the ninja school will never understand." At this time, Uzumaki Naruto became a little suspicious and asked, "Really? Isn't Grandpa Hokage the strongest ninja?" "Hokage is the strongest ninja. This is the view buried in the hearts of many children in Konoha village since childhood, and Uzumaki Naruto also thinks so." Shihouin Naraku waved his hand nonchalantly, a hint of disdain on his lips. "So you kids your age don't understand. The Hokage is indeed very strong, but he is old, and is definitely no match for a young man like me. I can defeat the Hokage with just one sneak attack." "Ah." Shihouin Naraku's blunt words shocked the two people present, as well as Tenzo and Anbu members hiding in the dark. Cough cough cough. Through the crystal ball, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was here with his helmet, couldn't stop coughing. He was also shocked by Shihouin Naraku's words. "This brat is such a liar. I really need to find an opportunity to teach him a lesson." Sarutobi Hiruzen was so angry that his teeth itched at the fact that he dared to doubt his own strength. "Hey, Naraku, don't talk nonsense. The Hokage-sama is indeed very powerful. Naruto is not wrong. Hitaki Kakashi finally couldn't help but speak. Cut. Shihouin Naraku pouted, which gave Hitaki Kakashi a headache. It's really strange, why do I feel like something is wrong with Naraku today? Hitaki Kakashi reacted quickly, although he didn't know what happened, but Shihouin Naraku was indeed a little abnormal today. Chapter 26, The Strongest Transformation Technique in the Ninja World. Although Uzumaki Naruto still didn't quite agree with Shihouin Naraku's words, he still believed him because the other party was a very powerful ninja. Brother Naraku, do you think I can become a ninja as powerful as you? Uzumaki Naruto said hesitantly, looking at Shihouin Naraku with round eyes, waiting for his answer. You. Shihouin Naraku pretended to be serious, looking Uzumaki Naruto up and down, and Naruto couldn't help but straighten himself up and cheer himself up. Although you are far inferior to me, you do have the potential to become an excellent ninja. He. Upon hearing Shihouin Naraku's evaluation, Uzumaki Naruto was so happy that he almost laughed out loud. It was really unexpected that someone could praise him so highly even though he was the last in the class. Seeing Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help himself with his happiness, Hitaki Kakashi asked curiously in a low voice, "Are you so sure?" Nonsense. Shihouin Naraku also replied in a low voice, "How can a child born from the fourth Hokage and the descendants of the Uzumaki clan have poor talents?" Recalling the amazing talent of his teacher Namikaze Minato, Hitaki Kakashi nodded in agreement. He knew too well how powerful his teacher was. He was a ninja who could scare off the enemy with his name alone. Believe it or not, even if this kid can refine chakra now, you can't compare to him. Shihouin Naraku raised his eyebrows provocatively, a teasing smile on his face. Wow, are you looking down on me by saying that? But thinking about the Uzumaki blood in Naruto, Hitaki Kakashi knew that he couldn't compare with him in chakra amount. The two were chatting here, while Uzumaki Naruto, who had been happy for a long time, suddenly became depressed. This is rare, after all, Uzumaki Naruto's personality has always been optimistic and confident. What's wrong with you? You suddenly become depressed. Brother Naraku, I'm so proud of myself for becoming a ninja, but I'm the worst student in school. Although he said he didn't care, as the last one in the group, Uzumaki Naruto was still a little frustrated. The tail end. Naruto, you have to know that the truly strong ones start from the bottom and work their way up to become strong. Shihouin Naraku's expression became very serious. He looked at Uzumaki Naruto, reached out and patted his shoulder, and said, "Among the Jōnin of Konoha Village, there is such a ninja. He is not good at ninjutsu, let alone illusion. He only has a talent for taijutsu. And he was almost abandoned by the ninja school because everyone thought he could never become a ninja, but he never gave up. Since he couldn't learn ninjutsu and genjutsu well, he devoted all his efforts to taijutsu." As soon as Hitaki Kakashi heard what Shihouin Naraku said, he knew who he was talking about, his good friend Might Guy. Uzumaki Naruto on the side listened to Shihouin Naraku's words attentively, not even willing to blink. So, where is this person now? Uzumaki Naruto couldn't imagine how a person who was not good at ninjutsu and genjutsu and only knew taijutsu could become a ninja. Now, Shihouin Naraku gave a thumbs up, a smile on his face and said, "Now he is the strongest taijutsu ninja in Konoha Village. His taijutsu is stronger than anyone else. Even the third Hokage is no match for him in taijutsu. This man is already a very powerful Jōnin. He has made great contributions to Konoha Village and defeated countless enemies." Hitaki Kakashi nodded in agreement. He used to think that Might Guy had a talent for taijutsu, but now he realized that only Might Guy had a talent for taijutsu. Hitaki Kakashi, who has fought with Might Guy many times, knows too well how powerful his opponent's punches and kicks are. After every head-on battle, he is inevitably injured. Meanwhile, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was in the Hokage building, was very satisfied watching Shihouin Naraku motivating Uzumaki Naruto. He liked this way of teaching and it could bring out better qualities in Naruto. The example of Might Guy is also very appropriate and is indeed something that Uzumaki Naruto should learn from. Naruto, do you know how this guy managed to succeed? Uzumaki Naruto shook his head, then looked to Shihouin Naraku for an answer. It's never-ending hard work. It's the will to never give up. It's a confidence that no one can match. If running 1,000 meters doesn't make you stronger, then run 10,000 meters. If swinging your fist 1,000 times doesn't make you stronger, then swing it 10,000 times. That's the answer. With every word Shihouin Naraku spoke, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes grew brighter, until by the end his entire being seemed to be on fire, the last bit of frustration that was left in Uzumaki Naruto having long since disappeared. Hitaki Kakashi couldn't help but give a thumbs up to Shihouin Naraku. These words really made his blood boil. I see. I will definitely be like this person and never give up. Keep practicing and become a ninja. This is my way of ninja. The fighting spirit burning in Uzumaki Naruto at this moment directly infected everyone present. Shihouin Naraku was also surprised. It turned out that I was the one who inspired Uzumaki Naruto's ninja way. Having said that, I do have some talent for talking. The high-spirited Uzumaki Naruto excitedly swallowed the food in his mouth, his blood boiling, and he didn't know how to vent. Brother Naraku, I'm going to unleash my self-created transformation technique to show you my will and determination. The excited Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help showing off. He jumped to an open space on the side and then made seals with his hands. Wait. Seduction technique. With a bang, the smoke rose and a curvy blonde beauty appeared in front of everyone. The blonde beauty struck a very seductive pose and blew a kiss to Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi. How about it? This is my own transformation ninjutsu. Even Iruka-sensei was defeated by this move. At this moment, all the high morale on the scene disappeared, and the surroundings fell into an awkward atmosphere. The corner of Hitaki Kakashi's mouth twitched, and he didn't know what to say. Is Uzumaki Naruto really the son of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina? Is there a possibility that I got the wrong one? Bang! Seeing the blonde beauty transformed by Uzumaki Naruto walking towards him, Shihouin Naraku kicked him away with a flying kick. Uzumaki Naruto fell directly into a dense grass, startling a flock of birds. Boring ninjutsu. Hitaki Kakashi gave an evaluation of this transformation ninjutsu. When Shihouin Naraku heard this comment, he suddenly thought of something and became very happy. Who would have thought that this ridiculous transformation ninjutsu that appeared at the beginning would save the world in the future? From the love-brained Haruno Sakura to the ancestor of Chakra Otsutsuki Kagaya, all fell under this ninjutsu. Mangekyo Sharingan, Rinnegan, Wood Style, Nine Tails Chakra, they are nothing compared to the harem technique. From this perspective, Uzumaki Naruto is a well-deserved genius. Uchiha Sasuke or something, not even close. Chapter 27. You should quit the group. In the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hiruzen took out a piece of white paper and wiped his nose, which had a very obvious bloodline on it. Ahem, Naruto is such an unexpected kid. Sarutobi Hiruzen was sure that he was caught off guard and was hit unexpectedly, luckily no one saw it. For older people, the threat of seduction is too great. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. The third Hokage has decided to have Uzumaki Naruto seal up this dangerous ninjutsu, otherwise more people will be harmed. Why is there bird shit? After a while of commotion, Uzumaki Naruto rolled out from the bushes. While brushing off the grass debris on his body, he complained, "Why did Brother Naraku kick me? Obviously, my seduction skills are very powerful. I should have hit the point just now. You are thick-skinned anyway." Shihouin Naraku rolled his eyes. He casually helped to pat the grass debris on Uzumaki Naruto's body. Naruto's body stiffened, and then he tried hard to hold back the tears that were about to roll down. "We just saw your best ninjutsu, so what are you worst at? Let us take a look. Maybe we can help you learn it. Remember, we are Jōnin." "Oh, okay." Uzumaki Naruto took the opportunity to turn around and wiped his eyes inadvertently, and Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi pretended not to see it. Even the slightest bit of care was almost too much for this child who longed for affection to bear. Alas, Uzumaki Naruto concealed the obscurity in his heart and cheered up. He felt that he was in a very good condition today and he would definitely be able to perfectly unleash the clone technique that he was not good at. He has confidence. Doppelganger technique. Bang! Poof! There was a sound like a leak, and everyone looked over, and saw a lump of mud-like substance appearing at Uzumaki Naruto's feet. And this is Uzumaki Naruto's clone. Ah, failed again. But next time, I will definitely succeed. I have mastered the key. Uzumaki Naruto was cheering himself up, while the others looked dismayed. Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen even slapped him directly on the table. Only Shihouin Naraku looked thoughtful. He understood why Uzumaki Naruto learned the multiple shadow clone technique, so this is it. The third Hokage really put a lot of thought into it. Brother Naraku, give me another chance, I will definitely succeed. It's okay, this clone technique is not suitable for you. Really? Hitaki Kakashi also saw the problem. As a ninja who had copied thousands of ninjutsu, he found the key to the problem at a glance. Clone technique was indeed not suitable for Uzumaki Naruto. Because the Seal of Nine Tails is located in Uzumaki Naruto's dantian, which is where chakra flows and gathers, the chakra accidentally leaked from Nine Tails will cause disorder, affecting Uzumaki Naruto's inability to accurately control chakra. The key to clone technique is the control of chakra, even if the amount of chakra is not much. These 2 points are exactly the opposite in Uzumaki Naruto. He has an amazing amount of chakra, but his ability to control it is very weak. So repeated releases of clone technique will fail. The multiple shadow clone technique inadvertently fits Uzumaki Naruto's characteristics. It requires a large amount of chakra but is not very strict in terms of control ability. This is why Uzumaki Naruto was able to learn it quickly. Anyway, Uzumaki Naruto is not afraid of waste. He is not afraid that some chakra will become disordered because of Nine Tails. As long as more chakra flows and gathers successfully to complete the process of releasing ninjutsu, it will be fine. There would be no need to worry about it in the future, as Nine Tails and Uzumaki Naruto would reconcile and this problem would disappear. Seeing that Uzumaki Naruto didn't understand why the clone technique failed, Hitaki Kakashi advised, since you can't do anything with the clone technique for now, you can choose to practice the body replacement technique. You don't need to practice your transformation technique. But, Uzumaki Naruto scratched his hair in annoyance and muttered worriedly, Teacher Iruka said that the graduation exam is clone technique. My transformation technique is so amazing, why didn't Iruka-sensei test me on this? Bang! Shihouin Naraku snapped his fingers, attracting Uzumaki Naruto's attention, and then he nodded to Kakashi and gestured to the big tree not far away. Hitaki Kakashi understood Shihouin Naraku's thoughts, and he was not unhappy about it. It was a pleasure to teach his teacher's children, and it felt interesting. Look at him. Shihouin Naraku put 2 fingers together and aligned his eyes, then pointed at Hitaki Kakashi, asking Uzumaki Naruto to look carefully. Uzumaki Naruto was stunned, then looked at Hitaki Kakashi who was holding the intimate paradise. Hitaki Kakashi kept walking, chakra gathered at his feet inadvertently, then he walked towards the big tree step by step. In the surprised eyes of Uzumaki Naruto, he stepped on the tree trunk as if walking on flat ground, then climbed up the tree in a few steps, and even when hanging upside down, he did not fall down. Uzumaki Naruto saw clearly that Hitaki Kakashi, the seemingly unmotivated guy, climbed up the tree step by step, instead of running up the tree. How is this done? Uzumaki Naruto turned to look at Shihouin Naraku, wanting to know the answer. Go ask yourself. Shihouin Naraku waved his hand, then half lay on the boulder and yawned. Uzumaki Naruto was not afraid of strangers. He approached Hitaki Kakashi and started asking for advice. Hitaki Kakashi looked back at Shihouin Naraku who was already half lying down, and could only begin to explain to Naruto the specific steps of treading water training. Soon. Bang. Ouch. Bang. Ouch. Quote. Uzumaki Naruto seemed to have no intention of giving up. He rushed towards the tree again and again. Even though he fell and grimaced, he had no intention of stopping to rest. No one spoke, everyone just watched Uzumaki Naruto fall from the tree again and again. Time passed by and everyone's eyes gradually began to change. Uzumaki Naruto moved everyone present with his actions of doing what he said and never giving up. Hitaki Kakashi, as expected of a teacher's child. Third Hokage, as expected of Namikaze Minato's child. Tenzo and Anbu Ninja, as expected of the 4th Hokage's child. Shihouin Naraku. Why talk about others? Even though Uzumaki Naruto is also a cheater, he is indeed walking on the road without stopping. You're not suitable for Anbu. Shihouin Naraku suddenly spoke. Hitaki Kakashi was stunned. What was he talking about? Are you, the deputy captain of Anbu, planning to rebel and kill me, the captain who is standing in your way? You know it yourself. Shihouin Naraku continued speaking, then fell silent, continuing to watch Uzumaki Naruto practice by stepping on the tree. Does Hitaki Kakashi know that he is not suitable for Anbu? No. This has nothing to do with strength, but with character. But if he doesn't stay in Anbu, Hitaki Kakashi doesn't know where to go. At least by staying in Anbu, he can relieve the inner scars through busy tasks and dangerous fights. Hitaki Kakashi was thinking about how to get over his emotional knot. He knew that he couldn't continue like this, otherwise he would be ruined sooner or later. So while watching Uzumaki Naruto's tree-stepping training, Hitaki Kakashi also remained silent. And Sarutobi Hiruzen in the Hokage's office, whose eyes were fixed on the sprinting figure of Uzumaki Naruto, had been silent for a long time. Tenzo and Anbu Team. Chapter 28 Kakashi's Comments. The crescent moon is cold and hangs high in the sky. The cold air spread in the silent forest, making people feel a little chilly. Uzumaki Naruto lay on the ground, his eyes slightly closed, and a soft snoring sound was heard. After practicing climbing trees for most of the night, Uzumaki Naruto finally couldn't hold on any longer. He fell off the tree again and fell asleep on the ground. However, his appearance scared everyone, and they thought that Uzumaki Naruto had overconsumed and something unexpected had happened. Hitaki Kakashi went forward to check and confirmed that Uzumaki Naruto really fell asleep because he was too tired. He waved behind him, and Tenzo appeared in front of him with the Anbu team members. Since he's already asleep, take him back and let him have a good rest. Yes. Tenzo walked forward and gently picked up the sleeping Uzumaki Naruto, but this action almost woke Uzumaki Naruto up. Fortunately, he just reached out and scratched his cheek, then fell asleep again. Uzumaki Naruto muttered something, but his voice was too low and too vague, so no one could hear it clearly. Swish. Tenzo nodded slightly to Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi, then left directly with the Anbu team. Looking at their departing figures, Hitaki Kakashi suddenly said, "Did you see just now?" "Yeah, that's so obvious." Naraku dusted himself off and stood up, looking like he had expected this to happen. After all, he not only has the blood of the Uzumaki clan, but he is also a Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. With his recovery ability, all the bruises and scars on his body will be completely healed after a good night's sleep. The two of them saw clearly just now that the bruise on Uzumaki Naruto's arm from the fall had faded a lot. This kind of resilience is truly enviable. Strong recovery ability is also a talent, and it is also Uzumaki Naruto's advantage. Putting other problems aside, just with this advantage, he can grow rapidly. Let's go back and rest. Shihouin Naraku glanced at the marks left by the kunai on the tree, yawned, and waved goodbye to Hitaki Kakashi. Walking on the road, Shihouin Naraku thought about his performance today. That should be about it. Based on what I know about the third-generation old man, he will definitely be spying on me in secret, and he will definitely not like what I am doing today. I finally pushed Hitaki Kakashi out and had him teach Naruto how to practice by stepping on trees. It was a good move. I guess Hitaki Kakashi will leave Anbu soon and become a mentor, so I can move up step by step according to my plan. After reviewing today's actions, Shihouin Naraku confirmed that he had done nothing wrong and immediately felt relieved. The next day. According to the third Hokage's instructions, Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi still had to follow Uzumaki Naruto. After a good night's sleep, Uzumaki Naruto was full of energy and went to school. As for his body, which was covered with scars from practicing for half a night, it has completely recovered and no sign of it can be seen from the outside. Not only teacher Iruka, but other students as well, felt that Uzumaki Naruto was unusually arrogant today. It was as if he had suddenly obtained some martial arts secrets and could become a ninja as long as he learned them. Uzumaki Naruto was so confident that he wanted to lift his head to the sky. It's a bit strange, what happened to this boy Naruto? Yumino Iruka, who seems to be very strict with Uzumaki Naruto but actually cares about him very much, is a little surprised about Uzumaki Naruto's performance today. Could it be that something good has really happened? No, This guy must be causing trouble. Yumi no Iruka was extremely alert, his eyes would glance at Uzumaki Naruto from time to time. And sitting in the seat, Nara Shikamaru and Akamichi Choji, who were among Uzumaki Naruto's few good friends, also felt that something was wrong with Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto, do you want to eat? Akamichi Choji, who regards delicious food as more important than his life, secretly opened a bag of potato chips and handed it to Uzumaki Naruto. No, no, eat it yourself. Uzumaki Naruto didn't even look at the tempting potato chips in front of him. Crack. Nara Shikamaru took the opportunity to quietly reach out and grab the potato chips, then threw them into his mouth. Akamichi Choji took back the potato chips and started eating them, but he also asked directly, Naruto, what's wrong with you today? Sure enough, even Akamichi Choji noticed that something was wrong. Nara Shikamaru glanced at his good friend. He knew that Akamichi Choji was a person who was different from his appearance and had a very delicate heart. So it was normal for him to sense Uzumaki Naruto's emotions. Hey. Uzumaki Naruto buried his head under his arms, unable to stop grinning, he was so proud. Someone taught me something very powerful. When I learn it, I will tell you. Someone is secretly contacting Naruto. Nara Shikamaru was stunned, but he quickly reacted. This is Konoha Village, and someone is always watching Uzumaki Naruto. If someone has ulterior motives, they will be taken away before they can even touch him. Thinking of this, Nara Shikamaru felt relieved. Then when you learn it, you must tell me. Akamichi Choji was eating potato chips with a crunch, and did not forget to give Uzumaki Naruto some instructions. Good. Uzumaki Naruto readily agreed. If it was before, Uzumaki Naruto would have skipped classes. He really wanted to go to the back mountain where he met Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi, but he had promised Grandpa Hokage that he would not skip classes again, so he could only bear it and wait for school to be over in the afternoon. The sun gradually rose higher and it was noon. Shihouin Naraku, who was bored, and Hitaki Kakashi, who was looking at the little uncle, were slacking off when they received a summons from Sarutobi Hiruzen. Believe it or not, the third-generation old man definitely just woke up. Shihouin Naraku raised his eyebrows, very sure of his guess. Sarutobi Hiruzen had definitely been spying on them last night, so he must have gone to sleep in the middle of the night. After all, they are elderly and have poor sleep, so we only found them at noon, which is very fast. Hitaki Kakashi put away Intimate Paradise, and thought about Sarutobi Hiruzen's orders and Shihouin Naraku's strange behavior. He always felt that something had happened, but he was the only one who didn't know it yet. The two soon arrived at the Hokage building. Hokage adults. Third-generation old man. Sarutobi Hiruzen widened his eyes and stared at Shihouin Naraku. What's wrong with this guy? Why does he seem to be getting more and more arrogant? He even doesn't want to call me Hokage, and just calls me old man. The change is too big. I called you here today because of something concerning Uzumaki Naruto. After spending time together yesterday, let's talk about what you think of him. Sarutobi Hiruzen puffed on his pipe and turned his gaze away with a pair of slightly cloudy eyes. Indeed, he looked like he had not slept well. Shihouin Naraku spread his hands towards Hitaki Kakashi, motioning him to speak first. Hitaki Kakashi hesitated for a moment, thinking back to yesterday's interaction, and then answered very politely. Uzumaki Naruto's basics are very poor. Even compared to other children in the ninja school, he is one of the worst. From his running speed and the posture when swinging the kunai, you can see that he has many flaws. On the outside, he is confident, lively and playful, always full of energy and unyielding tenacity, but on the inside he is very sensitive, has low self-esteem and cares a lot about what others think of him. At first I had some second thoughts about Uzumaki Naruto, but after his tree-stepping training, I think he can become a very good ninja. But in this process, he needs to be trained well. His problems need to be corrected, and after some polishing, Uzumaki Naruto will have a chance to succeed. That's it. Chapter 29. The same characteristics. Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen requests Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi, and rates Uzumaki Naruto. Hitaki Kakashi was very fair and expressed all his inner thoughts based on his own impression of Uzumaki Naruto. Just like he said, Hitaki Kakashi really didn't think highly of Uzumaki Naruto at first, until Naruto started to practice by stepping on trees, and then he changed his opinion. All ninjas will encounter countless dangers and difficulties in their growth process. Perseverance is the only beacon that can accompany everyone through the thorny road. Before setting foot on the wide road that will lead you to the destination, you must walk along a muddy path, wade through a river with lurking undercurrents, and pass through a dense forest with dangerous terrain. Uzumaki Naruto's character of never giving up is the only thing he can rely on. So Hitaki Kakashi was moved and said harsh words, but deep down in his heart he had already accepted Uzumaki Naruto. Sarutobi Hiruzen listened to Hitaki Kakashi's comments carefully. These words were consistent with his understanding of Uzumaki Naruto, and also consistent with his understanding of Hitaki Kakashi. Then both Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hitaki Kakashi looked towards Shihouin Naraku, waiting for him to speak. Let me think. How should I put it? Uzumaki Naruto will definitely be the strongest ninja in the entire Konoha village, no, the entire ninja world. Oh, except me. Shihouin Naraku pinched his chin and gave an answer. Naraku. Hitaki Kakashi thought he was joking and called out to him, asking him to be serious. Why have you changed so much in this period of time? Sarutobi Hiruzen angrily banged his pipe on the table, then coughed a few times and glared at Shihouin Naraku with a serious face. Be serious, don't joke. Shihouin Naraku spread his hands helplessly. Why was it that no one believed him when he told the truth? Uzumaki Naruto has so many cheats, it is not normal for him to reach the top of the ninja world. Now Naraku's own system is even more powerful, so it won't be difficult for him to crush the entire ninja world. I almost forgot about Uchiha Sasuke. Never mind, Naraku will take first place for himself and let Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke fight for second place. Since no one believes him now, Shihouin Naraku can only keep his opinion to himself. Let me think. People in Konoha Village grew up hearing the legend of the first Hokage Senju Hashirama, and so did I. I often heard stories from my teachers in ninja school, and when I was young, I played games with my friends about the first Hokage's pacification of Sengoku. When I grew up, I also read a lot of village records about the first Hokage's deeds, so I have a relatively good understanding of the first Hokage. Of course, this also includes the anime I watched in my previous life, Shihouin Naraku muttered to himself. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hitaki Kakashi still didn't understand what Shihouin Naraku wanted to say. I clearly asked you to evaluate Uzumaki Naruto, why did you mention he became first Hokage? Shihouin Naraku ignored the two people's confusion and continued. Although I haven't had much contact with Uzumaki Naruto for the time being, for some reason, I see the same qualities in him as in first Hokage Senju Hashirama. I don't understand what this trait is, but it's in the texts describing the first Hokage, and it's also in Uzumaki Naruto. So if this era is going to see a huge change in the end, then in my opinion, Uzumaki Naruto is the ultimate child of destiny. Shihouin Naraku finished his evaluation of Uzumaki Naruto. He muttered in his mind, no one will understand the meaning of my words now, but later you will understand what I mean. Tisk, spoilers are so cool. Naraku, you. Hitaki Kakashi shook his head, not knowing what to say. Sarutobi Hiruzen was equally dissatisfied. He looked at Shihouin Naraku with some annoyance. When something happened to Tsunade, Jiraiya taught you for a while. He was the one who told you these words about the child of destiny, right? Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen was very dissatisfied. From the beginning to the end, he was not impressed by Jiraiya's talk about the child of destiny. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's opinion, this was an excuse Jiraiya came up with to evade responsibility and act like a fool in the world. When the war with the Rain country ended, Tsunade and Orochimaru returned to the village, but Jiraiya stayed there to help train ninjas from other countries. Later, he left the village and searched the world for the so-called child of destiny. Sarutobi Hiruzen became furious when he thought about this. If Jiraiya, Tsunade and Orochimaru had been safe from the beginning and had all been in Konoha Village, many of the things that happened later would not have happened. There are 3 students, and none of them is worry-free. It's even better now. Among the senior leaders trained by the village, another one is influenced by Jiraiya. If Shihouin Naraku really wants to wander around the world like Jiraiya, Sarutobi Hiruzen will be so angry that he will have a cerebral hemorrhage. Alright, I know your opinions, get busy. Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hand and told Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi to get out. He didn't sleep well last night, and he had a headache after being up all day today. Standing up, Sarutobi Hiruzen paced back and forth in the office, smoking his pipe more frequently, and soon the smoke gradually increased. Looking at the first Hokage Senju Hashirama, second Hokage Senju Tobirama, and the young fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato hanging on the wall, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but sigh. In this life, the only person who has given me peace of mind is Minato. With an outstanding image, strong abilities, and a gentle yet tough character, Namikaze Minato is truly the junior that gives him the least worries. In fact, when Namikaze Minato gradually grew up, Sarutobi Hiruzen was inclined to let him become Hokage, and basically did not consider Orochimaru. From the beginning to the end, Shimura Danzo recommended Orochimaru. Namikaze Minato did a really good job after becoming the fourth Hokage, but who knew that something unexpected would happen? Thinking of Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi, Sarutobi Hiruzen's brows never relaxed. Alas, these two people have their own problems. Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi walked on the streets of Konoha Village in no hurry. Unless the ninja school was over, Uzumaki Naruto would definitely be at school, so there was no need to keep an eye on him. Both knew that their mission was not to watch over Uzumaki Naruto. Hitaki Kakashi was walking on the road. This time he did not take out the little book to read, but said, "Naraku, what you said just now was a bit too much. You even dragged the first Hokage into this. This is not a good thing for Uzumaki Naruto. It is normal for Hitaki Kakashi to have such thoughts. Who is first Hokage Senju Hashirama? He is the ninja god who pacified the troubled times and established Konohagakure. Since Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara established Konohagakure, the ninja world began to imitate Konoha and establish other ninja villages, and the chaotic times began to disappear. Let me put it this way, if there is a book recording the history of the ninja world, the space occupied by Senju Hashirama in it may not be as much as that occupied by the rest of the ninja world combined. Not to mention Konohagakure, in other places in the ninja world, even the forces hostile to Konoha sincerely acknowledge the power of Senju Hashirama. With this kind of historical status, you think a ninja school with a low grade and a low grade who is at risk of graduating will catch up. Even when joking, we have to follow the basic law, okay? You guys are really. Shihouin Naraku felt a little funny. He patted Hitaki Kakashi on the shoulder and said seriously. History was created by our predecessors like the first Hokage, but the future is determined by us. Young men like Uzumaki Naruto who have unlimited potential, who can be sure that they will not be able to catch up with their predecessors. Each of them has been leading the way for decades, and we'll see who will be the hero. Chapter 30 Ninja Training begins. Ding ling ling. The school bell rang, and Uzumaki Naruto rushed out of the ninja school like an arrow. Naruto. As soon as Yumino Iruka shouted, he found that Uzumaki Naruto had disappeared. Why are you running so fast? And in that direction, is Naruto planning to go to the forest behind the mountain? Yumino Iruka felt that there was something wrong with Uzumaki Naruto, so he planned to find him tomorrow to ask what had happened. Uzumaki Naruto ran energetically to the place where he met Shihouin Naraku yesterday, but unfortunately, he didn't find anyone. Uzumaki Naruto even ran around the area just in case, but still couldn't find anyone else. After mumbling a little in disappointment for a while, Uzumaki Naruto regained his spirits, ran to the big tree from yesterday, and looked up at the marks he had scratched on the trunk. Good. We must succeed today. Forming seals with both hands and controlling chakra to gather at his feet, Uzumaki Naruto once again rushed towards the tree. When you concentrate on training, time passes quickly. After 3 hours of training, Uzumaki Naruto, who was out of breath, temporarily stopped training. I'm so hungry. Uzumaki Naruto rushed to exercise as soon as he got out of school. He didn't have time to eat, so after the high-intensity exercise, he naturally became very hungry. After jumping into the river and catching a fish, Uzumaki Naruto lit a fire and started grilling the fish. From time to time he would raise his head and look around, expecting Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi to appear, but until the fish was cooked, no one stood in front of him. Brother Naraku and the others are Jōnin, they should be very busy. They will definitely show up when they are done. Trying hard to get rid of his disappointment, Uzumaki Naruto encouraged himself that when Shihouin Naraku and the other two showed up next time, he would definitely learn how to step on the tree and give them a scare. He. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto felt full of strength. Subscribe to Chinese novel audio wave. Just as he was about to stand up and continue practicing under the tree, a figure appeared in front of him. Grandpa Hokage. The one who appeared was the third Hokage, with a kind smile on his wrinkled face. He walked up and touched Uzumaki Naruto's head, then sat down next to Uzumaki Naruto like a caring old grandfather. What followed was a caring conversation like that between a grandfather and grandson, and Uzumaki Naruto happily danced with joy as he told Sarutobi Hiruzen everything that had happened around him recently. Shihouin Naraku, who was hiding in the dark and had not appeared, could not help but smack his lips. This old man was really powerful. He made other people in the village reject and hate Uzumaki Naruto, while Sarutobi Hiruzen was like a kind old grandfather who cared about Naruto. This contrast was simply amazing. Over time, the relationship will definitely become stronger. Sarutobi Hiruzen used his own experience to teach Shihouin Naraku a lesson on how to win over others. Hokage adults. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Uzumaki Naruto were chatting happily when an Anbu ninja suddenly appeared with some food in his hands. The Anbu ninja codenamed Elephant put the food aside, then turned and disappeared. This was the second time he went to buy food. His mission was to monitor Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, but now he had to buy food for Jinchuriki. Come, eat with me. I've been busy at work all day and I haven't eaten yet. Sarutobi Hiruzen showed off his hard work a little, then took Uzumaki Naruto to start eating. Oh. Uzumaki Naruto took the food handed to him by Sarutobi Hiruzen and started eating it. Why would Shihouin Naraku and Sarutobi Hiruzen bring food to Uzumaki Naruto? Because Uzumaki Naruto is now practicing by standing on trees, the consumption of chakra and physical strength will increase. At this time, he must eat enough, or even eat better to supplement nutrition. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't eat much, most of the food was eaten by Uzumaki Naruto. Haha, Grandpa Hokage, look at me. After a while, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't wait to show off to Sarutobi Hiruzen, so he took out a kunai and rushed towards the tree. Laugh. A new scratch appeared on the tree. This time Uzumaki Naruto reacted quickly. When the chakra under his feet could no longer be maintained, he rolled over and stood firmly. He did not fall badly like last night. How's that? It's great, isn't it? Uzumaki Naruto laughed happily, reaching up to scratch his head, looking towards Sarutobi Hiruzen expectantly. That's amazing. Many people in the ninja school can't do this. Sarutobi Hiruzen was not stingy with his praise, and said to him with a smile, but you still have to be careful, and be careful not to fall down when you can't hold on. No matter how badly hurt I am, as long as I get a night's sleep, I'll be fine. Uzumaki Naruto didn't care, things like getting hurt were not a big deal to him. Be careful then, I know. Watching Uzumaki Naruto rushing towards the tree once again, Sarutobi Hiruzen was satisfied with his persistence and kept sitting in front of the fire and watching. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen was not like Naraku and Kakashi. Although he also sat by the fire and smoked his pipe, he would occasionally remind them of the key points of stepping on trees. With his reminders, Uzumaki Naruto made rapid progress indeed. Well, my teaching ability is much better than Kakashi and Naraku. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought smugly, blowing out a puff of smoke from time to time. This is indeed the case. Everyone recognizes Sarutobi Hiruzen's teaching ability as he is able to train famous Sannin in the ninja world. Shihouin Naraku leaned against a tree trunk, watching third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen teach Uzumaki Naruto with great interest. As the third-generation old man trying to compete. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen is old and still the Hokage, so he has a lot of things to do and it is impossible for him to spend all his time with Uzumaki Naruto. So after staying with Uzumaki Naruto for a while, Sarutobi Hiruzen left, and Naruto continued to practice by stepping on the tree. We will be doing ninja sparring today. Yumino Uruka took the cardboard and pen, made a few strokes, and decided on the sparring partner. The students gathered together and whispered, completely unaware of teacher Uruka calling for them to line up and assemble. Inazuka Kiba, Uzumaki Naruto, and you. I said assemble. Yumino Uruka roared one after another, and was able to calm down these naughty students. The first group of ninja sparring. Uchiha Sasuke. Nara Shikamaru. As teacher Uruka's voice fell, amid the crazy shouts of the little girls, handsome Uchiha Sasuke stood out with his hands in his pockets and a cool expression on his face. Shikamaru, if you dare to hurt Sasuke, it's over. Yamanaka Ino cheered for Uchiha Sasuke while warning Nara Shikamaru not to hit too hard. Ah, what a trouble. Are these women crazy? Nara Shikamaru really didn't want to go out for the sparring, and stood there motionless with a look of resistance on his face. Bang! Someone slapped him directly on the back, pushing the panicked Nara Shikamaru out of the team. Nara Shikamaru staggered and almost fell to the ground. Who is pushing me from behind? Uzumaki Naruto, who was still in the team at this time, shouted, "Come on, Shikamaru. Defeat that stinky A." Chapter 31 Yumino Uruka is a good teacher. Come on, Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, you must win. Shikamaru, if you dare to win, you'll die. Yumino Uruka pretended not to hear the little girl's shouts, watched Uchiha Sasuke and Nara Shikamaru stand up, completed the seal of opposition, and immediately announced the start of the sparring. Start. 1 minute later, Nara Shikamaru was defeated. Amid the cheers of many girls, Uchiha Sasuke still walked back to his previous position coolly and completely ignored the girls. However, his behavior made the girls like him even more. Shikamaru, what's wrong with you? How could you lose to that guy? Seeing Nara Shikamaru coming back in a state of low energy, Uzumaki Naruto was very disappointed. He could see that Nara Shikamaru had not taken the sparring seriously just now. Looking at his expression, if teacher Uruka had not allowed it, Shikamaru would have admitted defeat directly. I couldn't beat him in the first place. Nara Shikamaru spread his hands helplessly. Besides, there's no need to be so serious about ninja sparring. Humph. Just wait and see, I will definitely be able to punch that Sasuke guy away. Uzumaki Naruto excitedly punched the air, eager to start ninja sparring with Uchiha Sasuke right away. Crack. Akamichi Choji took out a bag of potato chips and started eating while saying, "But Naruto, you can't beat Sasuke. He's the strongest one in the class. It is obvious who will win between the first and the last in the class. I am different from before." Uzumaki Naruto was full of confidence. He had been practicing tree stepping for 3 days and he felt that he was more powerful than before. Just wait and see. Crack. Akamichi Choji was eating potato chips. He couldn't figure out where Uzumaki Naruto's confidence came from. But as a friend, he would not pour cold water or laugh at you. The next group. The ninja sparring that started on the playground of the ninja school attracted the attention of Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi. After all, they had also been through this stage. So the ninja sparring directly brought back memories for the two of them, and reminded them of themselves at that time. Tisk, I really miss you. I remember when you were in the ninja school, you always won first place in every ninja sparring. Watching the ninja sparring on the playground, Shihouin Naraku recalled the scene in his memory and couldn't help but smile and said, "Just like that Uchiha Sasuke, you were very popular at that time. Every time you played against him, many girls cheered for you with your expressionless face. But I'm not bad either. How many times have I won our ninja duels?" Hitaki Kakashi unconsciously straightened his chest slightly, and said calmly, "I've only won 3 or 4 times, and they won when I wasn't paying attention." Shihouin Naraku immediately retorted that this was a matter of his reputation and he couldn't talk nonsense, bullshit. "I won fairly. And it definitely wasn't 3 or 4 times. I remember at least 5 or 6 times. One of them was a very clean victory for me. I finished the ninja sparring within 3 minutes, and you lost miserably." Hitaki Kakashi glanced at Shihouin Naraku with his dead fish eyes. He put away the intimate paradise in his hand and said, "Why did you win so quickly that time? Don't you remember?" "Oh yeah, that time." Shihouin Naraku pinched his chin and thought hard. Although both of them were geniuses when they were in the ninja school, Hitachi Kakashi was indeed more powerful. In ninja sparring with each other, Shihouin Naraku won less and lost more. After all, Hitachi Kakashi didn't have any knot in his heart at that time, and his strength was improving every day. He graduated at the age of 5, became a Chunin at the age of 6, and was promoted to Jōnin at the age of 12. His speed of progress really crushed all people of the same age at that time, even including older ninjas. However, after reaching its peak, it must decline. For a long period of time afterwards, Hitachi Kakashi's strength completely stagnated, and it is still the case until now. Recalling these memories, Shihouin Naraku suddenly burst out laughing. I remember now, you lost so easily that time because I stole the imperial book from a family elder and gave it to you. Tisk tisk tisk, you haven't learned well since childhood. Hitachi Kakashi pretended not to hear anything, his eyes still fixed on the ninja sparring on the playground of the ninja school. Hey, Naruto is here. The next group. Uzumaki Naruto. Hyuga Hinata. Quote. Hiss. Shihouin Naraku gasped. Yumino Iruka's ninja sparring arrangement was awesome. As expected, Iruka is the teacher who cares the most about Uzumaki Naruto. He started to create opportunities for Naruto to get along with others so early on and arranged a virtuous daughter-in-law for him in advance. Look at the kind of teacher this is. If there were more teachers like him, there wouldn't be so many single people in the world. Unfortunately, most teachers play the role of breaking up couples. Shihouin Naraku perked up and stared at the playground without blinking. Uzumaki Naruto and his wife Hyuga Hinata are sparring with each other, and it's going to be interesting to watch. At the ninja school's playground, upon hearing the name of ninja sparring from Sensei Iruka, Uzumaki Naruto and Hyuga Hinata reacted differently. Uzumaki Naruto was very disappointed. He thought he might face Uchiha Sasuke soon. He didn't think about the fact that Sasuke had won once, so unless he also won, there would be no chance for them to meet. With his hands behind his head, Uzumaki Naruto walked out of the team carelessly and stood on the playground. On the other side, after hearing her own name and Uzumaki Naruto's name appear together, Hyuga Hinata's face turned red like a tomato in an instant. She stood there for a long time and prepared herself mentally before she moved her body hesitantly and stood up. Forget about ninja sparring. Hyuga Hinata stood in front of Uzumaki Naruto, not even daring to raise his head. He was like a quail, trying to shrink his body. Uzumaki Naruto looked at the strange girl in front of him, not understanding what was wrong with her. Instead, he put up the seal of opposition, wanting to win quickly so that he could fight Uchimadara Sasuke. But after waiting for a long time, Hyuga Hinata was still huddled together and didn't even look up at him. Teacher Iruka was also helpless. He knew what was going on, but Hyuga Hinata was the eldest daughter of the Hyuga clan, so he couldn't say anything. Hyuga Hinata took a lot of courage and was about to raise her head, but Uzumaki Naruto came closer at some point and stared at Hyuga Hinata, wanting to see what was wrong with her. Looking at Uzumaki Naruto who was so close to him, Hyuga Hinata's whole body turned red, as if he had turned into a steam engine, with steam coming out of his head. Unable to bear the stimulation, Hyuga Hinata leaned back and fainted. Why? Uzumaki Naruto was confused. He didn't do anything. What happened? What a strange guy. Hehehehaha. Shihouin Naraku, who was standing on the big tree, was laughing so hard. Witnessing this scene with his own eyes, it was so funny that he couldn't help laughing. Is it that funny? Hitachi Kakashi looked at Shihouin Naraku's exaggerated smile in confusion. Isn't it that little girl who has a crush on Uzumaki Naruto? It can be seen at a glance. What's so funny? But he also recognized her. He could tell from her appearance that the girl was from the Hyuga clan. It should be the Zong family. Is it a bit troublesome? Trouble. No trouble. Shihouin Naraku waved his hand. Who dared to make trouble? Hyuga Hinata was not the heir to the Hyuga family later on, so why did no one dare to carve the caged bird on her forehead? And her daughter, Uzumaki, also awakened her Byakugan, so why didn't anyone carve a caged bird on her? Uzumaki Naruto, come on, are you moved by these two six-path super-large Rasenshurikens in my hands? Chapter 32 The Mysterious Masked Man and the Pitcher Plant. Thanks to Hyuga Hinata, Uzumaki Naruto had already won the ninja sparring match before he even made a move. Of course, Uzumaki Naruto was a little unhappy. This was not in line with his plan. Naruto originally thought that he could make a big splash. Who knew that the plan would fail before it even started? He glanced at Haruno Sakura secretly, only to find that the girl's eyes were all on Uchiha Sasuke and she didn't notice him at all. Uzumaki Naruto could only return to the team dejectedly. The next group. Ninja sparring continues. Shihouin Naraku also saw Uzumaki Naruto's expression. At this time, Naruto didn't realize Hyuga Hinata's feelings for him at all. He was extremely dull. Of course, the main reason is that Uzumaki Naruto's mind is all on Haruno Sakura. Although there was an accident during the ninja sparring with Hyuga Hinata, it was soon Uzumaki Naruto's turn. This time the ninja sparring went smoothly. Uzumaki Naruto defeated his classmates in the shortest time and won the victory in front of everyone's surprised eyes. Seeing the shocked looks from his classmates and friends, Uzumaki Naruto wanted to puff out his chest to the sky, but when he looked at Haruno Sakura, he found that the girl was still keeping her eyes on Uchiha Sasuke. "Sasuke, I will definitely defeat you." The extremely arrogant Uzumaki Naruto shouted at Uchiha Sasuke, but Sasuke just turned his head away and snorted coldly, completely ignoring Naruto. Wow! Uzumaki Naruto was so angry that he was about to rush forward, but fortunately Nara Shikamaru and Akamichi Choji stopped him. "It's so lively." Shihouin Naraku watched the fight on the playground with interest, turned around and said, "Naruto is a bit smart, you saw it just now." Well, the tree-stepping training during this period was not in vain. Hitaki Kakashi nodded. They all saw the key to Uzumaki Naruto's victory in the ninja sparring just now. Although he was still a little unskilled, he gathered his chakra under his feet at the beginning, and the speed he burst out was so fast that his opponent couldn't react and fell into a disadvantage immediately. But if he wants to rely on this ability, he's still a little short of defeating the Uchiha Sasuke. Shihouin Naraku also agreed with Hitaki Kakashi's statement that Uzumaki Naruto has not laid a solid foundation, and he still has a long way to go if he wants to rely on sudden bursts to defeat Uchiha Sasuke. But after just a few days of training, there can be such a big change. Uzumaki Naruto's ability himself is quite good. The last group. Uchiha Sasuke. Uzumaki Naruto. Uchiha Sasuke, still looking like a cool and handsome boy, stood up, while Uzumaki Naruto glared at him angrily. This time Uchiha Sasuke didn't put his hands in his pockets again, but took them out. He was still full of confidence, but after several sparring matches with Uzumaki Naruto, he was no longer the last one, so Sasuke reluctantly became serious. But just be serious, after all, Uchiha Sasuke never wanted to defeat his peers, but to take revenge and kill his brother Uchiha Itachi. Start. At Iruka-sensei's command, Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke instantly rushed towards each other. The ground beneath Uzumaki Naruto's feet stirred up sand and he increased his speed, swinging his fists at Uchiha Sasuke. Condensing chakra under his feet is no longer a big problem for Naruto now, but he still can't maintain it for a long time. Because with his control ability, he cannot output a large amount of chakra for a long time under the interference of Ninetales chakra. Snort. Seeing the fist so close to him, Uchiha Sasuke dodged it by leaning sideways, then supported himself on the ground with one hand and kicked towards Uzumaki Naruto with his right leg. The fist missed the opponent, and Uzumaki Naruto, who didn't have time to retract his strength, could only watch himself being kicked by Sasuke, and then he almost fell over. But at this moment, the chakra under his feet steadily sucked him to the ground. He endured the pain in his body, hugged Sasuke's legs with both hands, and then exerted force to throw him out. Uchiha Sasuke rolled over and stood on the ground. At this time, Naruto had already pounced on him. As he was not yet stable, Sasuke could only punch back. The two fists collided instantly. He was not standing steadily to begin with, and the collision of their fists caused Sasuke to stagger back involuntarily. Seeing this, Naruto immediately saw hope of defeating Sasuke. While retracting his fist, he suddenly squatted down and swept his leg to hit Sasuke. But Sasuke took this opportunity, turned over backwards, supported himself with his hands, bent his whole body into a bow shape, and instantly kicked Uzumaki Naruto's shoulders with his legs, kicking him directly away. Naruto rolled on the ground for a few times, but before he could stand up, Sasuke appeared and kicked him directly. Naruto didn't care about the embarrassment, he continued to roll, stood up with a somersault, and then rushed towards Sasuke without hesitation, but just when the other party was about to turn around to avoid him, he punched him. Bang! Uchiha Sasuke stretched out one hand and tightly grasped Uzumaki Naruto's fist. Bang! Uzumaki Naruto's other hand also caught Uchiha Sasuke's fist. The two of them were in a stalemate. Kama. Is this Naruto? Yumino Iruka looked at the scene in disbelief. What's going on, Naruto? The laziness in Nara Shikamaru's eyes had disappeared, and he was watching the battle on the field with shock on his face. No way, Naruto can't be a match for Sasuke. This was the surprised cry of the girls who had been cheering for Uchiha Sasuke. Crack. Akamichi Choji had an expression on his face that said Naruto was really awesome, and he grabbed another handful of potato chips to eat. He had just participated in a ninja sparring match, and of course, he lost without a doubt. The fight consumed a lot of energy, so he had to eat something quickly to replenish it. Not bad. Whether it's what you said to him, Kakashi, or what the third-generation old man told him, Naruto remembered it all. This guy's combat IQ is indeed not low. Shihouin Naraku watched the battle on the playground and commented with interest. He was not surprised at the improvement of Uzumaki Naruto. In the early stage, Naruto's progress might not be noticeable due to his foundation, but as long as he does not give up training, Uzumaki Naruto's improvement in strength will surprise all those who look down on him. The blood of Nine Tails and the Uzumaki clan is Uzumaki Naruto's foundation. When the time comes, this foundation will become the fuel for Uzumaki Naruto's progress and drive his strength to soar wildly. Hitaki Kakashi was completely engrossed in watching Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke practicing ninja skills. In a trance, he seemed to see his younger self fighting with a lively and cheerful Uchiha boy. Obito. Hitaki Kakashi couldn't help but touch his eyes, which were blocked by the forehead protector, where there was a Sharingan given by his companions. Snort. A cold snort sounded. No one noticed that the space on the rooftop of the ninja school suddenly twisted, and a mysterious man in a black robe and a mask appeared. The mysterious masked man took a look at the ninja sparring going on in the playground and snorted disdainfully, "Child's tricks." Then the mysterious masked man turned his attention to Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi hiding in the dark. To be more precise, he was looking at Hitaki Kakashi. He. The ground at the top of the building was like the surface of water, with ripples slowly spreading out. A strange man who looked like a pitcher plant came out. His body was a little strange, half white and half black, as if two people were forcibly put together. The person with the white half said with a smile, "Is that Itachi's brother? He looks pretty good. He's far worse than Uchiha Itachi. Their talents are not on the same level." The mysterious masked man answered coldly, but his eyes were still on Hitaki Kakashi. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Chapter 33 Detection, Confirmation of Identity. Aren't we leaving yet? You've already seen the wild. Shut up. The pitcher plant-like weirdo with the white half-face laughed and wanted to continue talking, but the black half-face suddenly spoke and shouted at him in a low voice to shut up. This pitcher plant-like weirdo has two different consciousnesses in his body. The black half of the pitcher plant monster's face looked towards where Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi were, and said in a very gloomy voice, "According to intelligence analysis, the next fifth Hokage is likely to appear in one of those two people. Obito, we can do this secretly. No need. Kakashi is a loser. He never gets anything done. He's completely useless." The mysterious masked man, Uchiha Obito, looked at Hitaki Kakashi, who was lost in his memories, with disdain and snorted. "No way. There's no need to do anything extra. That jerk Kakashi will mess everything up. If he becomes Hokage, Konoha Village will be doomed sooner or later." Every word Uchiha Obito said was accompanied by Hitaki Kakashi. From a certain perspective, this could be considered a form of concern, perhaps. Zetsu looked at Uchiha Obito, who was cursing Hitaki Kakashi but still staring at Hitaki Kakashi, and was speechless. "We have recently found some traces of Orochimaru, but this snake hides very deeply. Should we continue digging?" Or should we leave his whereabouts to Pain? Hearing the serious matter, Uchiha Obito reluctantly retracted his gaze. He lowered his head and thought for a while, then shook his head. Not for now, Orochimaru is still useful. When he loses his usefulness, I will kill him directly. He, although we didn't find that disgusting snake. Zetsu's white half said with a smile, but we found that his men seemed to be discussing something with the people of Sunagaku. The specific content is unknown, but the target is Konoha Village. Uchiha Obito smiled disdainfully. He looked down upon the poor Sunagaku et al. And said directly, Sunagaku's fool actually believed in Orochimaru. Don't worry about that. Although Sunagaku is weak, if they join forces with Orochimaru, Konoha Village, which has been at peace for a long time and has lost its vigilance, will suffer heavy losses. This is a good thing for us. Zaitu, wait until Orochimaru and Sunagaku's plan is complete before you tell Uchiha Itachi this information. What are you going to do? White Zetsu's laughter sounded, but Uchiha Obito ignored it. The distorted time and space reappeared, and before disappearing he glanced at Hitaki Kakashi and left a word. This fake world will be destroyed by these idiots sooner or later. Like a pitcher plant, Ju slowly sank into the ground and disappeared. Shihouin Naraku suddenly raised his head and looked around, his sight finally falling on the rooftop of the ninja school. Is it my illusion? Why did I feel a sense of malice just now? With a whoosh, Naraku jumped up and landed on the rooftop, looking around with a frown. But this place seemed no different from before, and there were no strange traces. What's wrong? Hitaki Kakashi, who was awakened by Shihouin Naraku's actions, also followed and looked at the rooftop in surprise. Shihouin Naraku shook his head and said uncertainly, just now I seemed to feel a malicious gaze here, but I didn't see it. As he spoke, he raised his hand and the hidden Anbu team appeared behind him. You guys conduct a carpet search centered around the ninja school to see if you can find anything. Yes, no one takes this matter lightly when it comes to Nine Tails Jinchuriki. However, after a thorough search, the well-trained Anbu did not find any strange traces or anything like that. Is it really my illusion? Shihouin Naraku listened to the answer from Anbu's subordinates, and was a little unsure whether his previous feeling was wrong. After all, it was not so easy to come and go freely in a place like Konohagakure. Wrong. Shihouin Naraku suddenly remembered that there were indeed people who could come and go freely in Konoha Village. Uchiha Obito is complete. They can actually do this kind of thing. Could it be that they were here just now? However, Shihouin Naraku suppressed his doubts, waved his hand to let the Anbu members disperse, and continued to hide in the dark with Hitaki Kakashi. Yo! Is the ninja sparring over? Who wins, Naruto or Sasuke? Shihouin Naraku looked towards the playground, where Uzumaki Naruto was jumping and yelling. Uchiha Sasuke. Hitaki Kakashi just saw the result of the ninja sparring and said directly, Uchiha Sasuke caught Naruto's weakness and defeated him in the end. Oh, that's normal. The tree climbing training has only been going on for a few days, and the current progress is already good enough. It will be unlikely for Uzumaki Naruto to catch up with Uchiha Sasuke for the time being. After losing to Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto didn't look happy. After school at the ninja school, he came to the forest behind the mountain in a depressed mood. However, he didn't feel depressed for long, as Uzumaki Naruto regained his spirit and continued to practice on the tree with full energy. You watch here first. I have something to do. Shihouin Naraku whispered, then scurried away without waiting for Hitaki Kakashi to reply. Hitaki Kakashi frowned and looked at Shihouin Naraku's back, feeling a little strange. He had noticed that something was wrong with the other party since just now. Shihouin Naraku was very fast and arrived at the memorial stone of Konohagakure in a flash, which was also the cemetery of the village. He walked in slowly and soon came to a person's grave. Sure enough, it's Uchiha Obito. In front of the tombstone, there is a bunch of beautiful and eye-catching flowers, and it looks like they have been placed here not long ago. On the tombstone, there is a photo of a beautiful girl, Nohara Rin. A former companion of Uchiha Obito and Hitaki Kakashi, he voluntarily died at the hands of Kakashi's Reikiri in order to protect Konoha Village. Shihouin Naraku looked around and found a bunch of discarded flowers on the ground not far away. Tisk. He threw away the flowers that Kakashi gave to Nohara-Lin and put his own flowers instead. Obito is really stingy. Having confirmed his guess, Shihouin Naraku turned and left. He had no intention of telling anyone else about this. Because Uchiha Obito and Uchiha Itachi had an agreement that as long as Itachi was alive, they could not attack Uchiha Sasuke and Konohagakure, so there was no need to worry about anything for the time being. Besides, Uchiha Obito relies on his Mangekyo Sharingan ability, Kamui, to appear and disappear without a trace, so under normal circumstances, it is not easy to catch him. Shihouin Naraku soon returned to the back mountain forest, and he saw Sarutobi Hiruzen at a glance. Uzumaki Naruto is really happy during this period. Not only does he have someone to accompany him every day, but he can also eat delicious food every day. Compared to the past, he can be said to be living in a dream now. After working as a bodyguard with Hitaki Kakashi for a few days, Shihouin Naraku finally found Sarutobi Hiruzen and told him his thoughts. I want to be the head of the medical department. Chapter 34 Reward Qualification, Successful Practice. I want to be the Minister of Medical Affairs. Shihouin Naraku, the vice chief of the medical department, stood in the Hokage's office and made his demands in a firm tone. Sarutobi Hiruzen held the pipe, forgetting to light it, and looked at the sudden appearance of Shihouin Naraku in surprise. Why? He didn't believe that Shihouin Naraku didn't know that the Minister of Medical Affairs had no real power at all and it was just a nice title. Not long after Shihouin Naraku took control of the medical emergency squad, the medical department basically became his one-man show, and the director was just an old man appointed by Sarutobi Hiruzen. He had a lot of experience, but was only responsible for some simple tasks and conveying the Hokage's mission. When Shihouin Naraku became the deputy minister, the situation did not change much. The most important medical emergency team was managed by Shimura Danzo and the two elders, while the remaining branches such as the corpse disposal team and the animal training and rehabilitation team were still in the hands of Shihouin Naraku. Therefore, whether or not he is the Minister of Medical Affairs has no impact on Shihouin Naraku's power. Shihouin Naraku looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and said directly, "Now I am in charge of the division of the medical emergency team. If I become the director of the medical department, it will be more convenient and I can complete the division task as soon as possible." Seeing Shihouin Naraku's determined expression, Sarutobi Hiruzen hesitated for a moment, but still said, "Okay, if you want, you will be the head of the Konoha Village Medical Department." Ding! Host is promoted to Director of Konoha Village Medical Department. Closing square bracket. Congratulations to Host for obtaining 5 draw qualifications. The remaining draw qualifications are 7. Closing square bracket. Friendly reminder, it is more likely to get magical items when you draw 10 times in a row. Closing square bracket. A system prompt appeared, but it's a pity for Shihouin Naraku. Although he got the maximum 5 qualifications for this draw, with the remaining 2 times before, he can only draw 7 times, which is not enough for 10 consecutive draws to get good things. Sarutobi Hiruzen watched Shihouin Naraku leave, and suddenly an idea flashed in his mind. Is Naraku taking this opportunity to show that he doesn't want to be a candidate for Hokage? No, the news hasn't been notified to them yet, so Naraku and Kakashi probably don't know about it. But they both think quickly, so maybe they can guess something. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had some guesses in his mind, discovered in the next few days that Shihouin Naraku was no longer around Uzumaki Naruto with Hitaki Kakashi. He immediately sent someone to inquire, and Shihouin Naraku's answer was as it should be. He was busy with the splitting of the medical emergency team and had no time to go to Uzumaki Naruto. Anyway, Hitaki Kakashi was there, so it didn't matter whether he went or not. This time Sarutobi Hiruzen was certain that Shihouin Naraku must have guessed something, so he asked him directly for the position of medical director and stayed away from Uzumaki Naruto. Shihouin Naraku's sudden action caught Sarutobi Hiruzen off guard. He really didn't expect that Naraku would be unwilling to become a candidate for Hokage. On the other hand, Sarutobi Hiruzen actually trusts Shihouin Naraku a little more, but the other party is almost saying that he is unwilling, and he can't force Naraku to become a candidate. That doesn't make sense. Sarutobi Hiruzen tapped his chair, looking hesitant, and after a while he stood up and left the Hokage building, wandering around Konohagakure. Ah, Hokage-sama. It really is the third Hokage. This bouquet of flowers is for you, Hokage-sama. Wow, it's Grandpa Hokage. It has to be said that third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen is a very respectable Hokage in the eyes of ordinary people in Konohagakure. For civilians, they don't quite understand what happens between ninjas, but they do live a good life under the protection of Sarutobi Hiruzen, and that's enough. Ordinary people only care about food, clothing, housing and transportation, and don't think about anything else. In fact, this also shows why Shimura Danzo is not suitable to be Hokage. You stay in the dark underground all day long, and you are naturally incompatible with the sunny Hokage. No matter what you are like in secret, the Hokage must maintain his greatness and justice in public. Sarutobi Hiruzen wandered around Konoha Village for a long time, taking it easy on everyone's love for him, and finally returned to the Hokage building, but he came to the rooftop. A gust of wind blew, ruffling the white robe on Sarutobi Hiruzen. Standing on the roof and looking at the Konoha village below, Sarutobi Hiruzen thought for a long time and finally made up his mind. Now that Naraku has made his intentions clear, let Kakashi do it. Sarutobi Hiruzen has figured it out, it's just confirming the candidate for Hokage. Even if Hatake Kakashi becomes Uzumaki Naruto's instructor, it doesn't mean he will definitely become Hokage. If any accident occurs, as long as he is still alive, we can just replace him. It won't be a big deal. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen was appointed Hokage by second Hokage Senju Tobirama on the battlefield, and Konoha village survived at that time, so nothing should go wrong in peacetime. Since he had made up his mind, Sarutobi Hiruzen no longer asked about Shihouin Naraku. Apart from instructing Anbu to take care of Uzumaki Naruto's meals during this period, he would occasionally show up to eat with Uzumaki Naruto and teach him the tricks of tree-stepping training. And Hatake Kakashi is still hiding in the dark, watching Uzumaki Naruto grow up little by little every day. Success. Ha 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 ha, I succeeded. Uzumaki Naruto was standing on the big tree happily, jumping and skipping, but he accidentally lost his balance and almost fell down. Fortunately, the chakra under his feet helped him stick to the tree trunk and he did not fall. Be careful. Sarutobi Hiruzen smoked his pipe, exhaled a puff of smoke, and smiled at the happy Uzumaki Naruto. After jumping down from the big tree, Uzumaki Naruto lay on the grass, unable to hide the smile on his face. The joy brought to him by the moment of success was really indescribable. Sarutobi Hiruzen walked closer and stood next to Uzumaki Naruto, watching him roll over and sit on the grass while swaying. Hey, Grandpa Hokage, can I become the village's ninja now? Uzumaki Naruto looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with hope. He felt that he was now better than everyone else in the ninja school. After all, no one could be like him. No, you still have to pass the ninja school exam. Sarutobi Hiruzen gave Uzumaki Naruto the answer he least wanted to hear. Why is that? Teacher Iruka said the graduation exam is clone technique, and that's what I'm worst at. Uzumaki Naruto scratched his head. After practicing stepping on trees for such a long time, he could feel his strength growing, but unfortunately his clone technique was still in a state of sometimes good and sometimes bad. Hee. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled and narrowed his eyes. There's nothing I can do about it. Iruka is a school teacher. I can't change the decision he made. Ah, you are the Hokage. Even if Uzumaki Naruto was slow to react, he could see that Sarutobi Hiruzen would not help him in this regard. So I had no choice but to give up the idea of taking shortcuts and practice the clone technique honestly. Of course, Uzumaki Naruto didn't know that even if there was someone who couldn't graduate from the ninja school, that person wouldn't be him. Sarutobi Hiruzen wouldn't allow it, and the entire Konoha village wouldn't allow him to not graduate. Ninetales Jinchuriki can't graduate, what a joke. Uzumaki Naruto must embark on the path to become a ninja, which is the path set for him by fate. Chapter 35 The Second 10 Draw. Konohagakure Medical Department. Russell. Shihouin Naraku was sitting in his office, writing something on a piece of paper with a pen in his hand. Finish. Shihouin Naraku wrote the last word, then put away his pen and picked up the paper. He coughed nervously. Appointment letter. Appoint Shihouin Naraku as the director of the Konoha Medical Emergency Squad Split Team. Deputy Director Sarutobi Juyu. Team members. Shihouin Naraku finished reading the appointment letter he had just written. Yes, he appointed himself. He was planning to exploit a bug in the system to see if it would work. After all, under normal circumstances, accumulating lottery qualifications is too slow, and Uzumaki Naruto is about to graduate, which means that the time for Konoha's collapse plan is getting closer, and he must improve his strength in the shortest time possible. According to the rules of the system, a demoted position will give 1 chance to draw the lottery, a transfer to the same level position will give 2 chances, and a promotion will give at least 3 and a maximum of 5 chances. Shihouin Naraku, who had studied the system rules for a long time, discovered a bug. He didn't know whether it was intentional or unintentional, but the system didn't seem to stipulate that he couldn't appoint himself. Now that Shihouin Naraku belongs to the Konoha upper echelons, he certainly has the power to appoint other people, and as long as it's not too excessive, the Hokage will not interfere. So he hesitated for a moment and decided to give it a try to see what the system said. So Shihouin Naraku actually appointed himself a position and even set up a special team to be responsible for splitting up the medical emergency team. After reading the appointment letter, Shihouin Naraku waited for the system's response. Quote. Silence, still silence. Just when Shihouin Naraku was completely disappointed and thought that the bug had failed, the system prompt sound finally sounded. Ding. Host becomes the director of the Konoha Medical Emergency Squad. Closing square bracket. Question mark. Congratulations to host for qualifying for 2 lucky draws. Success. But before Shihouin could be happy, the system's voice sounded again. Ding. Found a system vulnerability, start patching. I just got stuck in the nug once, and it's going to be gone already. Ding. New rules added to the system, appointment system. Shihouin Naraku was surprised to see that the system had added a rule, the appointment system. He quickly asked the system to show him the new rules, and a large amount of text appeared in his pupils. It took Shihouin Naraku a long time to finish reading all the content. So that's how it is. I can appoint myself in the future, but the system has added a limit. I can only do this 5 times a year. If I exceed this, I will no longer be eligible for rewards. And every time you appoint yourself to a new position, you will be eligible for at least 1 chance to win the lottery, and at most 2 chances to win the lottery. Moreover, Shihouin Naraku discovered that the system clearly stipulated that in order to successfully appoint himself to a new position, such an organization must really exist. Just like this time he appointed himself as the director of the splitting team, then there must be such a team, and the team must have other members, and these people are indeed busy with the splitting work of the medical emergency team. Everything must be genuine to be eligible for the draw. I see. The system is blocking my idea of causing trouble. I can't just give myself a random position and cheat the system of the lottery qualification. Shihouin could understand the emergence of this rule. If there were no restrictions, he would have completely plucked out all the hair from the system in the shortest possible time. There is a limit of 5 appointments per year, with a minimum of 1 lottery opportunity each time and a maximum of 2. That's fine. If you're lucky, it'll be a 10-draw combo. Shihouin Naraku almost couldn't help laughing out loud. Let me think about it. With the remaining 2 draws from the last 10 draws, plus the 5 given by the Minister of Medical Affairs, and these 2, that means I have 9 draws to qualify for. Then we must collect 10 consecutive draws as soon as possible. I need to think carefully about what positions are available. Shihouin Naraku first called people in and explained the other appointments of the split team. After all, the system said that they had to really do the work. What other positions are there? They must be real and have work to do. After thinking hard for a long time, Shihouin Naraku was really worried for a moment. However, since the medical department couldn't think of any positions, Shihouin Naraku turned around and returned to Anbu. Under Anbu's curious gaze, Shihouin Naraku walked around the Anbu base and returned to his office. Captain Anbu, squad leader, squad leader. Tapping his fingers on the table, Shihouin Naraku leaned back in his chair, thinking about what position to give himself. I picked up a piece of paper and drew on it for a long time. Suddenly, an idea flashed in my mind and I thought of something. Shihouin Naraku took a pen and wrote 2 words on the paper: logistics. He is the deputy captain of Konohagakure Anbu, and he is responsible for Anbu's logistics. However, the deputy captain is in charge of more than just this one thing, he also has many other complicated matters. So Shihouin Naraku was thinking whether it would be possible to separate the logistics affairs into a special position and appoint him to it. Let me see. Let's set up a logistics team to be responsible for the logistics of the entire Anbu. Clothes, ninja tools, weapons, etc. Yes, and medicines. After all, there are only more than 70 people in the entire Anbu, so the squad doesn't need to be too large. I will be the logistics squad leader, and the squad will only need 3 people in total. Shihouin Naraku wrote down whatever he thought of and finished the appointment list in no time. After coughing, he said, "Appoint Shihouin Naraku as the Anbu logistics squad leader, appoint Yamanaka Yu." The words fell, but Shihouin Naraku still did not hear the system's response. I almost forgot, Anbu, I'm not the boss. I have the Hokage above me and the Captain General below me. That means I need the consent of those 3rd-generation old men and Kakashi. After figuring it out, Shihouin Naraku set off immediately. At this time, Hitaki Kakashi is still following Uzumaki Naruto, but compared to before, when he would wander around and make trouble all day, Uzumaki Naruto is now practicing hard every day. Maybe the pressure of graduation makes him a little nervous. He looked up from time to see Uzumaki Naruto. Hitaki Kakashi still had the intimate paradise in his hand. Anyway, he was not really watching over Naruto. Tenzo and the Anbu team were the real caretakers. Swish. Shihouin Naraku suddenly appeared in front of Hitaki Kakashi and handed him a piece of paper. Hitaki Kakashi took the paper in confusion. What is this? An appointment letter. Yes, in order for Anbu to better complete the mission, I think logistics must be taken seriously. This team must be established. Looking at Shihouin Naraku's serious expression, Kakashi didn't object and simply nodded in agreement. Then the next second he saw the pen handed to him by Shihouin Naraku, and reluctantly wrote his name on it. Kakashi was about to speak when he found that both the paper and the pen were snatched away by the other party, and then the person disappeared the next second. I said, Looking at Uzumaki Naruto, who was still training in the distance, and then looking around to see that there was no one around him, Hitaki Kakashi became even more confused. Hokage Building Office. Logistics Agency. Why did you suddenly think of this? As expected, Sarutobi Hiruzen also agreed to the appointment. After all, this was to enhance the overall strength of Anbu, so there was no problem with that. Ding. Host becomes the logistics leader of Konohagakure Anbu. ? Congratulations to Host for winning a lucky draw. Currently, Host's lottery qualification is 10 times. Closing square bracket. Done. In order not to attract attention, Shihouin Naraku continued to listen to Sarutobi Hiruzen's chatter for a while before pulling away. Even though he had accumulated enough for 10 consecutive draws, Shihouin Naraku skipped work and returned home. Let's start, system, let's do 10 consecutive draws. Ding. Do you want to start the second 10 pull? Closing square bracket. Open. As soon as Shihouin Naraku finished speaking, a roulette wheel that only he could see appeared before him. The pointer on the roulette wheel began to spin rapidly, and every time the pointer passed over the dazzling array of rewards, Naraku could not help but get excited. Ding. The lucky draw is complete. Congratulations to Host for receiving the following rewards. 1. 10 special detonating talismans. Closing square bracket. 2. Fire-style Garuda technique. 3. The Grand Master of Seal Art. 4. Breath of the Sun Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Closing square bracket. 5. Lightning Style. Technique. 6. Supersonic Lightning Style Knife. 7. Observation Right. 8. Tensa Zanjetsu name can be changed. 9. Ichiraku Ramen 30% off coupon expired. Closing square bracket. 10. 10,000 taels paper money. Closing square bracket. Crash. A handsome long sword, banknotes, and detonating tags appeared in front of Shihouin Naraku. Shihouin Naraku grabbed the long sword directly, and with a clang, he pulled out Tensa Zangetsu. Black. Pitch black. This is Tensa Zangetsu's first impression of Shihouin Naraku. The blade is pitch black and the handle is black and red. Behind the handle is a small piece of thin iron chain, and the guard is in the shape of a swastika. Shihouin Naraku is very satisfied with this straight blade black long sword. Chapter 36 Zanpakuto, Kurakara. Shihouin Naraku joyfully held the Tensa Zangetsu in his hand and waved it casually. The black blade cut through the air, making a shrill whimpering sound. The sharp blade seemed to cut through the space, leaving only an invisible thin line. I like this knife, it's handsome and sharp. Shihouin Naraku certainly had no shortage of quality weapons, in fact he did have a collection of several good quality swords, but none of them could compare to the Tensa Zangetsu in front of him. Wait, Tensa Zangetsu is Zanpakuto, and this is the state of Bankai, then the one in my hand. And when the reward appeared, it was marked after Tensa Zangetsu that the name could be changed. System, what does this mean? The rewards that appear in each lottery will be affected by the host's subconscious mind. For example, if the prize is devil fruit, under the influence of the host's subconscious, Mara fruit will appear. Closing square bracket. One of the prizes this time is Zanpakuto. Because of the host's preference, Tensa Zangetsu was drawn. This sword also inherited some of the original abilities. Closing square bracket. For example, holding this knife can increase the host's strength, movement speed, and attack speed, thus entering an ultra-limited combat state. It also has a unique ability, Crescent Sky Strike, which compresses the host's chakra to the limit at the tip of the knife, and then releases it, forming a crescent-shaped blade light, which is extremely powerful. Closing square bracket. Note, specially marked as renommable means that after the name change, the knife will truly become the host's Zanpakuto, with more magical abilities. The original abilities will still be preserved after the name change, and due to the host's preferences, the appearance of the Zanpakuto will only change slightly. Closing square bracket. So that's what you mean. Shihouin Naraku suddenly realized, but he scratched his head, not quite understanding why he subconsciously liked Mara fruit. Is this true or false? There are so many magical devil fruits in the pirate's world, it is impossible that he likes Mara fruit the most. Could it be that this subconscious means that I am naturally good at fire style in this life, so I unconsciously chose Mara fruit? Forget it, I can't figure it out. Let's resolve the Zanpakuto issue first. Since the system has made it very clear that changing the name will not affect the original abilities and will increase new abilities, there is no need to hesitate. System, how do I change my name next? Host holds Zanpakuto, and his name will appear in his mind. Shihouin Naraku thought about it, then sat cross-legged, clasped Tensa Zangetsu in both hands, closed his eyes and began to meditate. Name. What will my Zanpakuto be called? The room gradually became quiet, and the only sound that could be heard was Shihouin Naraku's steady breathing. Breathe in and out. Shihouin Naraku, whose mind was completely immersed in the sea of consciousness, seemed to hear a shout. His deep eyes suddenly opened and Shihouin Naraku called out the name he heard. The myriad phenomena, the myriad dharmas, the Kuligala. The Zanpakuto that Shihouin Naraku held tightly in both hands suddenly began to vibrate, but before he could lower his head, the vibration disappeared. A brand new Zanpakuto appears before your eyes. The black scabbard is dotted with plum blossoms, and a golden dragon is wrapped around it, with its scales and claws showing, looking mighty and unrestrained. The originally black and red handle now had many invisible fish scale-like patterns on it, making it look extremely delicate. Clang! The sharp blade was unsheathed, and Shihouin Naraku nodded with satisfaction. Although the original Tensa Zangetsu looked like a straight blade at first glance, it actually still had a bit of curvature, but now the knife has completely become a straight blade. The pitch-black blade seems to have not changed at all, but if you look closely, you will find that even light cannot illuminate its appearance. The pitch-black blade even seems to have turned into a black hole, swallowing up the sight, making people feel as if possessed and unwilling to look away. Moreover, it seemed as if there was a black dragon wandering in the dark blade, but it was unfortunately difficult to see clearly. Ding! Congratulations host, Zanpakuto has awakened successfully. Closing square bracket. Both the scabbard and the zanpakuto itself hit me right in the heart. Shihouin Naraku automatically knew all the information about the sword just by holding the Kurakara. First of all, as long as Shihouin Naraku fights with Kurakara in hand, the sword will automatically help him restore his physical strength and chakra. Kurakara will also increase the power of all ninjutsu released by Naraku, as well as an ability that he finds very strange, that is, from then on, no snakes or dragons can cause any harm to him. Finally, the most important ability is that Kurakara can devour any zanpakuto to strengthen himself. That is to say, if Shihouin Naraku draws other zanpakuto in the future, Kurakara can devour it and gain new power. Of course, it may not be just zanpakuto. As for what else it can devour, Shihouin Naraku needs to explore it himself. This lucky draw is amazing. It's worth all the brain cells I lost. Kurakara alone greatly enhances Shihouin Naraku's strength, not to mention the other prizes. He just hung the knife around his waist, and then Shihouin Naraku found that Kurakara and the scabbard disappeared. When he put his hand on his waist, the knife appeared again. When he let go, the knife disappeared again. This is good. It won't affect combat and daily activities. It was zanpakuto after all, forged from the soul of Shihouin Naraku, not just any other sword. Although Kurakara has no intelligence, it only recognizes Shihouin Naraku as its master. He was not afraid of losing Kurakara, because only he could use the knife. Anyone else who used it would die, and anyone who dared to claim it for himself would be burned to ashes by the flames. Let me see what other rewards there are this time. A fire style, a lightning style, and a detonating talisman. Wait, why is there a 30% discount coupon for Ichiraku ramen as a reward? The key is that it's expired. What's the point of taking it? Shihouin Naraku picked up the discount coupon in bewilderment and looked at the date on it. Sure enough, it was from 9 years ago and had expired long ago. Good man, why don't you just give me one from 10 years ago? Maybe I can give it to Uzumaki Naruto as an antique as a birthday present. Well, thinking about it, Shihouin Naraku realized the use of this discount coupon. Anyway, Uzumaki Naruto is a loyal user of Ichiraku ramen, so maybe if he takes it to Otsutsuki Ichiraku, he will recognize it. Observation Haki. This comes just in time. Combined with the elementalization of the Mara fruit, no one will be able to sneak attack me from now on. This will be of great help in battle. Shihouin Naraku felt his observation Haki, and the moment he entered the state, his 5 senses became extremely sharp. He seemed to have gained a superpower. Although he was standing in the room, he could hear outside. A breeze blew through the petals, and bees fluttered their wings. A leaf from a big tree slowly fell on the water, causing ripples. In the distance, children were chasing and playing on the street, with their clothes fluttering. A hawker's windmill was creaking as he shouted. All these vivid and interesting scenes seemed to be seen with his own eyes, making Shihouin Naraku feel like he was in a special world. So this is the world of observation Haki. Shihouin Naraku reluctantly exited the observation Haki state. It was a wonderful feeling of grasping the world in an instant, which made him linger. Conqueror's Haki. Right now I only have observation Haki, and I don't know when I'll see the remaining 2. But I seem to have only mastered the basic abilities of observation Haki. I don't know the more advanced abilities of predicting the future, listening to thoughts, reading memories, etc. I'll try to develop those advanced abilities in the future. Some of them seem to be innate, but with the system, I may not be unable to learn them forever. Chapter 37, Skyrocketing. Cage Level Strength. Shihouin Naraku sorted out the prizes won in this lottery and checked them one by one. Supersonic Lightning Style Knife. This looks like the move of 8 Tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee. Injecting lightning-style chakra into the knife causes ultra-high-frequency vibration periodic waves to enhance the sharpness and penetrating ability of the knife. Just like the Chidori blade that Sasuke will develop in the future, the blade is also covered with lightning-style chakra, which has a similar effect. It seems that Killer Bee used this move to block Sasuke's Chidori blade. It's a very practical ability. Especially since Shihouin Naraku had just obtained Kurakara, he could use this trick. Master of Hand Seal, this is a power from the Hokage world. Shihouin Naraku asked the system directly and got the answer that it was indeed the case. He also learned the specific effect of this reward. The master of hand seals affects himself. From now on, no matter what ninjutsu he releases, not only will the hand seals be formed at an extremely fast speed, but he can also form them with one hand. The most important thing is his simplified seal. For example, water-style water dragon bomb technique. When Zabuza Momochi and Kakashi Hatake performed this jutsu, it was so outrageous that they had to make 44 seals, but the second Hokage only needed to make 3 seals to successfully perform it. In the future, Shihouin Naraku will be able to form the fewest hand seals in the shortest time, just like the second Hokage, and the ninjutsu will be released before the enemy can react. Very useful. For a ninja, a split second can decide life or death. And the appearance of the Seal Master can help me seize this moment in battle and defeat the enemy. Shihouin Naraku then looked at the last reward, sun breathing, which is an ability in the Demon Slayer world. This breathing method can strengthen the heart and lung function, use the blood to instantly absorb a large amount of oxygen, thereby temporarily and significantly improving physical fitness. This ability is useful for Shihouin Naraku, but the improvement is not that big. After all, he has other ways to improve. However, the 13 sword forms or moves that come with sun breathing are of great help to him. Mastering the breathing of the sun, Shihouin Naraku instantly learned 12 of the sword forms and mastered them with proficiency, which greatly improved his swordsmanship. But for now, he can't do what the founder, Yuichi Tsugumi, did and slash out 1,500 times in an instant. Perhaps once he can perfectly perform the 12 sword forms and form a cycle, he will have a chance to complete the 13th sword form. But the benefits of sun breathing are more than that. The system prompts that if he can master sun breathing to the highest level in his entire concentration and can maintain it even when sleeping, he can slowly improve his own physical fitness. This is good news for Shihouin Naraku. After all, compared to his spirit, his physical condition is indeed a little worse. Now that there is a way to improve his physical condition, it doesn't matter even if it is slow. Call. After letting out a long breath, Shihouin Naraku took another deep breath, feeling his heart beating inside his body. He began to change his breathing rhythm until he completely switched to the sun breathing, then he stopped. Then, while walking, sitting or lying down, Shihouin Naraku maintained the rhythm of the sun breathing, not letting it get disrupted. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but he felt his physical condition slowly getting stronger. In the next few days, Shihouin Naraku spent all his time on breathing of the sun, trying to reach the highest level in the entire collection as quickly as possible. Perhaps because he had mastered the 12 sword forms of sun breathing, he was able to maintain the rhythm of sun breathing while walking, sitting or lying down without disrupting it. But currently I can't maintain this state while sleeping. No one knew that Shihouin Naraku was visibly increasing in strength. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, several months are gone. During this period of time, Shihouin Naraku completely absorbed the surging strength and laid a more solid foundation for himself. With the perseverance of perseverance, he entered the highest realm of sun breathing and could even maintain his breathing rhythm while sleeping, strengthening his physique at a speed so slow that it was invisible to the naked eye. Shihouin Naraku is improving its strength step by step, and Konohagakure is always peaceful and stable. However, there was a problem with Uzumaki Naruto. His secret tree walking training was discovered by Uchiha Sasuke. Since the last ninja sparring, Uchiha Sasuke found that Uzumaki Naruto's strength had increased a lot. The loser who would be defeated by him in a short time before could now fight with him for a while, and sometimes he even needed to concentrate fully to maintain the upper hand. Seeing this, how could Uchiha Sasuke, who prided himself on being a genius, bear it? After some tracking that he thought was secret, he discovered Uzumaki Naruto's secret. So after a verbal confrontation, Uchiha Sasuke joined Uzumaki Naruto's team and also started tree climbing training in advance. Although his chakra control was much stronger, Sasuke was often ridiculed by Uzumaki Naruto during the tree stomping process. However, Naruto was also very generous. He told Uchiha Sasuke the same tricks that Hatake Kakashi and Sarutobi Hiruzen taught him. Faced with Uzumaki Naruto's loud ridicule, Uchiha Sasuke, who was grateful for the favor but sometimes couldn't help but explode, got carried away and the two of them started fighting. As a result, Naruto was bruised and battered, while Sasuke was slightly better, but still in a very embarrassed state. But Uzumaki Naruto's physique was very abnormal, and he recovered faster, so in a sense, the two of them fought a tie in a very strange way. And secretly, the bond between Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke grows stronger. But they have no feelings for each other and still quarrel with each other. A trial field somewhere in Konohagakure. Crack. Kurikara returned to the sheath and disappeared. Shihouin Naraku put down his hand, let out a long breath, and looked at the trial field around him, which looked like a ruin. There were still some flames and smoke burning around it. Almost there. Roughly speaking, my current strength should be cage level, and I'm not one of those cage level strongmen who are just filling in the numbers. With a smile on his face, Shihouin Naraku looked at the smoke gradually extinguishing on the trial field and turned to leave. The noise during the training is getting louder and louder. My private training ground was destroyed last time. Although this one is not completely scrapped this time, it has to be repaired. It seems that I have to find another training ground next time. Shihouin Naraku was a little distressed. Although Konohagakure had more than 50 training grounds, they would not last long if they were being scrapped. Do we have to go outside the village? Thinking about his own things, Shihouin Naraku came to the forest behind the mountain. He had been busy with his own affairs for the past few months and had not come to Uzumaki Naruto's place at all. Anyway, he had already told Sarutobi Hiruzen about his plans in a vague way, and Shihouin Naraku guessed that the other party had understood what he meant. Otherwise, why has no one come to him to keep an eye on Uzumaki Naruto for so long? Having just finished his training, Shihouin Naraku was in no hurry and leisurely came to the forest behind the mountain. However, as soon as he approached, he heard a noise. Ha. Stupid Sasuke, you lose. This was Naruto's smug laugh. Idiot. The voice was a little unfamiliar, but Shihouin Naraku recognized it as Uchiha Sasuke. It seems that wherever these two go, they can't avoid quarrels. There is no way. The reincarnation of Indra and Ashura's chakra is like this, sometimes good, sometimes bad, there is no end. Chapter 38, Invitation to a Fight. Agreed. Shihouin Naraku stood on the stone with his hands in his pockets, looking down at Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke who were pressing their heads together. Uzumaki Naruto's entire face was bruised and swollen, while Uchiha Sasuke was a little better, but there were traces of bloodlines at the corners of his mouth and arms, and his clothes were torn in many places. Shihouin Naraku sat cross-legged on the boulder, supporting his chin with one hand, watching the two little devils arguing below. It's really destined. Uchiha Sasuke, who always looks cold, can't help but break down his defense whenever he meets Uzumaki Naruto. Even if he becomes cold again afterwards, Sasuke will break down again as long as he is teased by Uzumaki Naruto again. It's fate. Speaking of which, the only thing missing from this group is Haruno Sakura. Haruno Sakura was able to join the ninja team of Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke because of Naruto's love for her, because this team was built around Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Shihouin Naraku knew exactly what Sarutobi Hiruzen meant. It was about developing a bond, the same old thing. However, the existence of Uchiha Sasuke was also due to the Sharingan, since the Sharingan was a natural nemesis of the tailed beasts. Who are you? Shihouin Naraku was lost in his thoughts and didn't come back to his senses. The moment Uchiha Sasuke turned his head, he found Naraku sitting cross-legged on a boulder with his chin supported by one hand. Ah, Naraku-sama. Following Uchiha Sasuke's line of sight, Uzumaki Naruto spotted Shihouin Naraku and he immediately ran over happily. Bang! Shihouin Naraku snapped his fingers and a faint spark suddenly appeared, quickly flew through the air, and lightly hit Uzumaki Naruto's forehead, causing him to stop involuntarily and rub his forehead with his hand. Why did you hit me, brother Naraku? You'll be graduating from Ninja Academy soon, so you still have time to have fun here. Uzumaki Naruto immediately retorted loudly, pointing at Uchiha Sasuke who had regained his cold expression, and said, "We are just practicing, it was Sasuke just now." Seeing Shihouin Naraku reaching out and tapping him, Uzumaki Naruto could only shut up, but he still muttered quietly with his head down. But Naruto didn't dawdle and turned around to continue his training. Uchiha Sasuke on the side glanced at Shihouin Naraku, hesitated for a moment, and then followed Naruto to start training. The tree-stepping training had actually been completed, but Uchiha Sasuke did not return to his previous training alone. Instead, he stayed. Even though he had to fight with Uzumaki Naruto from time to time, he had no intention of leaving. Swish! Hitaki Kakashi appeared next to Shihouin Naraku, and the two watched the ninja sparring between Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke in silence for a while. "Hey, Naraku, let's have a ninja sparring match." Hitaki Kakashi's words made Shihouin Naraku stunned. He was still sitting cross-legged, with his head slightly tilted, looking at the other party. He didn't know why Kakashi thought of practicing ninja sparring with him today. Seeing the other party's expressionless face, Shihouin Naraku curled his lips and said, "Oh, but you can't beat me. We have to try to know." Hitaki Kakashi put away Intimate Paradise, looked down at Shihouin Naraku seriously, and said, "Don't forget, in the ninja sparring between the two of us, I was the one who won the most. Ha ha ha. Don't forget, that was a long time ago. I just gave in to you when we were little." Shihouin Naraku laughed loudly, attracting the attention of Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke who were not far away. He said, "If you want, it's okay to fight. But you have to tell me why. The third Hokage called me over today and informed me of something. I may quit Anbu soon." "I see." Hearing this, Shihouin Naraku understood that Hitaki Kakashi was going to quit Anbu and become an instructor. Maybe deep down he was willing, but he was still unwilling, so he wanted to fight Shihouin Naraku. If he could win, he would let go of the past and leave Anbu. If you lose, you can still leave, but you may always feel a little unwilling in your heart. After all, to put it another way, this can be considered as Shihouin Naraku driving away him and becoming the captain general of Anbu. If you lose, you become Hokage. If you win, you stay and become the captain of Anbu. Perhaps for Hitaki Kakashi, this battle was also a way to vent the pain in his heart. So Shihouin Naraku agreed without hesitation. Since his good friend asked to be beaten personally, he naturally had no choice but to do it. "You said you were willing to be beaten." Shihouin Naraku spread his hands, looking helpless. "This is the first time I've seen such a request in my life." Jumping down from the boulder, Shihouin Naraku clapped his hands, looked around, and then frowned and said, "Let's go to the number 19 training ground. It's not easy for the forests on the back mountain to grow. Don't destroy them completely." Hitaki Kakashi glanced at Naraku and said, "It looks like you're planning on a fight." "Of course. I finally have a reason to beat you up. I can't let this opportunity go." Shihouin Naraku raised an eyebrow, raised his hand to signal Uzumaki Naruto, then turned and left. Why? Uzumaki Naruto was just about to show off his training success in front of Shihouin Naraku, but he didn't expect the other party to leave at this moment, so he immediately left Uchiha Sasuke behind and rushed after him. "Brother Naraku, why are you leaving so soon? You haven't seen how powerful I am now. Kids, go back and rest early. We have things to do." Uzumaki Naruto pouted in dissatisfaction as he watched Shihouin Naraku dismiss the child, but then he saw Hitaki Kakashi following him and leaving. "Uncle Kakashi is leaving too. You guys." Hitaki Kakashi was speechless. Naruto called him uncle and Naraku big brother. Isn't there a generation difference between them? They are the same age. "We are going to fight. But you are not allowed to watch the excitement. Go back quickly or practice on your own." Shihouin Naraku waved his hand, signaling Uzumaki Naruto to leave quickly. "Fight." Uzumaki Naruto's eyes instantly lit up, and an excited expression appeared on his face. Seeing Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi gradually going away, Uzumaki Naruto immediately followed them quietly, but he still had some loyalty and did not forget Uchiha Sasuke, so he waved behind him, motioning Sasuke to follow. Uchiha Sasuke stood there and thought about it, then followed. The two of them sneaked behind Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi. Of course, Naruto and the others had been discovered long ago, but Naraku and Kakashi didn't care. Training ground number 19 is located southeast of Konohagakure. It is huge in area and the environment is very suitable for combat, but it is a little far away. Shihouin Naraku asked in advance whether Hitaki Kakashi needed to go back and prepare a genin tool or something like that. and Kakashi simply shook his head, indicating that he had already prepared it. It seems like you have already planned this. Glancing at the other person thoughtfully, Shihouin Naraku shrugged. Chapter 39, Mighty Guy wants to join the battle. Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi walked in the front, while Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke followed stealthily behind, using the surrounding environment to hide their figures from time to time, and no one knew what they were hiding from. Glancing at the silent Hitaki Kakashi, Shihouin Naraku smiled. It seems that even though he doesn't say it, he still takes it very seriously in his heart. The most important reason why Shihouin Naraku chose the number 19 training ground was that it was far away. Walking all the way there would allow Hitaki Kakashi to slowly adjust his condition, both mentally and physically, to reach perfection, so that he could face him in the best possible condition. Yo, my dear friends. Just as Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi, who was adjusting their condition, were walking on the road, a green figure suddenly appeared from a distance, stood in front of the two of them after a few jumps, cheered loudly and was about to hug them, etc. Shihouin Naraku quickly reached out to stop the enthusiastic Might Guy. What happened to Kakashi? Might Guy also noticed that something was wrong with Hitaki Kakashi. Where was he going to complete the Anbu mission? Was he going to fight? But why didn't Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi wear Anbu battle costumes? Seeing Might Guy's confused look, Shihouin Naraku smiled provocatively. We're going to have a fight, do you want to come? Oh. Upon hearing this, Might Guy jumped back and did a 360-degree turn in the air. No problem. A thumbs up was raised, and Might Guy showed a white fang with a flash of light. Subscribe to Chinese novel audio wave. Then, as if he remembered something, Might Guy waved suddenly behind him, and Shihouin Naraku saw three figures running towards him from a distance. Hyuga Neji, Tenten, Rock Lee. It turned out that Might Guy was leading Konoha's third team and had just returned from completing a mission outside. Why don't you take them to hand in the mission first? Shihouin Naraku pointed at the curious Hyuga Neji and the other two and said, we have to go to the 19th training ground anyway, so we have enough time. Might Guy looked back at his three disciples, thought for a moment, and nodded, no problem, we'll be back soon. Everyone, speed up, return the mission now. After saying that, Might Guy ran away. The three Hyuga Neji who had just approached had not yet reacted to what was happening. They could only take a deep breath and followed helplessly again. It's really lively. Shihouin Naraku shook his head, but it seemed that Hyuga Neji and the other two knew him and Hitaki Kakashi, and they nodded and greeted them in a friendly manner when they passed by. Ah, Teacher Guy, why are you in such a hurry? We have already returned to the village. Tenten, who has a cute face, complained while rubbing her knees. Because there's something interesting to watch. Naraku and Kakashi are going to have a ninja sparring session, and I want to go too. After completing the task delivery process in a hurry, Might Guy came out with his three students, signaling them not to rest for the time being and to follow him. This is a rare battle between three Jōnin. Aren't you interested? What? Three Jōnin? Hyuga Neji and the other two immediately widened their eyes and looked at their teacher in disbelief. That's right, me, Shihouin Naraku, and Hitaki Kakashi. It's been a long time since we last fought. It's time to get excited. Might Guy jumped up and down with excitement, then rushed out first. Neji, Lee, who do you think will win among the three Jōnin? Tiantian asked curiously as he followed. Rock Lee immediately shouted, of course it's Teacher Guy. The winner must be Teacher Guy. Hyuga Neji thought about it carefully and said uncertainly, I don't know. Teacher Guy is very powerful, but Master Hitaki Kakashi is a famous ninja in the ninja world. Even ninjas from other ninja villages recognize the title of copy ninja. That's Shihouin Naraku-sama. I'm not sure about his exact strength. Sensei Guy said that Naraku-sama is a medical ninja and a high-ranking official in Konoha Village, but he didn't say much about his strength. Tenten had a bright smile on her cute face, and she said as if she remembered something, oh, yes, Lord Naraku is a medical ninja. The medicine that Teacher Guy used on us seemed to be made by Lord Naraku. Rock Lee spoke up at this time, Mr. Naraku is also amazing. You forgot that Mr. Guy said that Mr. Naraku has been a genius since he was a child, and he was even accepted as a disciple by Master Tsunade, one of the Sannin. Lord Tsunade, one of the Sannin. This name immediately shocked Tenten and Hyuga Neji. Especially Tenten, her dream is to become a female ninja like Tsunade. Let's go. The three of them immediately sped up and chased after Might Guy. On the busy streets of Konohagakure, four figures led by Might Guy flashed by and disappeared in an instant. What's going on? Kurenai Yuhi felt strange watching this scene. Sarutobi Asuma, who was smoking a cigarette beside her, scratched his head, also a little confused. Exercise, maybe. Both of them are aware of Might Guy's powerful strength, so they don't question his seemingly ridiculous training method. The two people who were dating and shopping didn't care about this and continued to be sweet. It started. When Might Guy and his students arrived at the number 19 training ground, they found that Naraku and Kakashi were already standing inside the training ground, staring at each other, while two children were standing outside, watching them intently. Might Guy recognized them immediately: Ninetales Jinchuriki Uzumaki Naruto, and Uchiha Sasuke, the orphan of the Uchiha clan. He walked over directly with the three students and stood in front of Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke. If you guys think the situation is not right, retreat immediately. Otherwise, you will be dragged into the battle, which is not good. Uchiha Sasuke maintained his indifferent style. The first time Uzumaki Naruto looked at him, he shouted, "Wow! Such thick eyebrows. Why are you being rude to Teacher Guy?" Might Guy himself didn't care about Uzumaki Naruto's offense, but Rock Lee stood up without hesitation. He couldn't accept someone being so rude to his teacher. Uzumaki Naruto looked at the guy who stood out and had the same style of thick eyebrows, and suddenly didn't know what to say. As Mr. Guy's student, I, Rock Lee, want to challenge you. Why? Uzumaki Naruto looked confused. Plum. Yes, Mr. Guy. Rock Lee obediently returned to his teacher. Might Guy spoke seriously. What you are about to see is a battle between the strongest Jōnin in all of Konohagakure. Watch carefully, as this may have an impact on your ninja career. Yes. Clear. New. Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha on the side were stunned for a long time after hearing these words. Uchiha Sasuke's eyes flashed with the ambition of revenge. These two people turned out to be the strongest Jōnin. If he let one of them teach him, would he be able to kill Uchiha Itachi quickly? And Uzumaki Naruto was in disbelief. He didn't expect Hitaki Kakashi and Shihouin Naraku to be so powerful. Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi didn't pay any attention to what was happening outside the court. The two of them were staring at each other from a distance. Shihouin Naraku relaxed all over, his eyes fixed on Kakashi. Hitaki Kakashi closed his eyes, trying hard to adjust his body and mind. It seemed that the genius he once was gradually returning. Wow! A gust of wind blew by. The stirred-up leaves and dust were flying in the air, temporarily blocking the view. At this moment, Hitaki Kakashi suddenly opened his eyes. The laziness in his eyes had long disappeared, leaving only a fleeting gleam of light. At the same time, Hitaki Kakashi lifted the forehead protector that was covering his other eye, revealing a cheek with a long scar that ran through his entire right eye. In the right eye socket, a scarlet 3-tomo Sharingan was slowly rotating. Swish! Everyone outside the arena except Might Guy and Uzumaki Naruto turned their eyes to Uchiha Sasuke, who was in shock. Chapter 40 Fight. Why does that guy have a Sharingan? Sharingan is the Uchiha clan's bloodline limit. Uchiha Sasuke was stunned. He looked at Hitaki Kakashi in disbelief, or more precisely, at his Sharingan. He was sure that, apart from himself, the only one left in the entire Uchiha clan was Uchiha Itachi, whom he wanted to kill all the time. So, where did that guy's Sharingan come from? The scene before him completely stunned Uchiha Sasuke. What's wrong? Uzumaki Naruto turned his head and looked over there, not understanding what was going on. He also saw that something was wrong with Uchiha Sasuke. Hitaki Kakashi's eyes are indeed a little strange, but why is everyone reacting like this? Even though Uzumaki Naruto had offended Teacher Guy before, Rock Lee kindly explained, the eye of Lord Kakashi is the Sharingan, and the Sharingan is the bloodline limit of the Uchiha clan. They are the only ones in the entire ninja world who can awaken such an eye. Oh, Uzumaki Naruto understood that it was Sasuke's eyes that went to Uncle Kakashi. However, he had more doubts in his mind. but he could only endure it for the time being. It's about to begin. Might Guy suddenly spoke up to remind. Some time ago, the root base. You mean Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi went to the 19th training ground? Yes, Lord Danzo. Shimura Danzo, who was hiding in the dark, tightened the cane in his hand, and finally a smile appeared on his face, which had remained expressionless until now, because his trick had succeeded. The fight finally started. He revealed the news of the Hokage candidates to Shihouin Naraku so that he could turn against Hitaki Kakashi and even fight him in secret. But several months passed before Shimura Danzo heard any good news that would make him happy. Instead, the news that Shihouin Naraku became the head of the medical department made him even more confused. Doesn't Shihouin Naraku want to be Hokage? Shimura Danzo died of disbelief. He felt that this was Shihouin Naraku's way of retreating in order to advance, and that it would definitely be exposed one day. All he had to do was wait for the two to fall out, and then eventually throw the evidence of their fight in front of everyone in Konohagakure, making them completely lose the possibility of becoming Hokage. After all, few people can accept the idea of having to fight brutally with their friends for the sake of Hokage. And now, he has finally waited for something. Set off. Go to practice field number 19. Yes. Shimura Danzo, along with his two loyal subordinates, quickly headed to the 19th training ground. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hiruzen stared at the crystal ball on the table, frowning at the two figures displayed on it, Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi. Naraku voluntarily withdrew, and I also passed Kakashi yesterday. Logically, there is no reason for the two to fight. But then he thought that it might be Hitaki Kakashi's idea, and Kakashi intended to use this battle to convince him. That's good. If a battle can help Hitaki Kakashi finally let go of his worries, then Konoha Village will have one more elite Jōnin. Blatter, batter. The office was filled with smoke. For a moment, it seemed as if many people were staring at the two figures in the center of the training ground. A light fallen leaf floated in the air and slowly fell down. Shihouin Naraku was completely excited when he saw Hitaki Kakashi lifting the ninja forehead protector. This was full firepower. The atmosphere between the two becomes more tense. The fallen leaves drifted between the two of them and then fell to the ground. Boom. Bang. The ground beneath Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi's feet exploded at the same time. Gravel and sand flew everywhere, and the ground cracked into spider-web-like cracks. The two men approached each other rapidly at a speed that was difficult to distinguish with the naked eye, and then collided violently. A terrifying force exploded at this moment. Crack. The moment Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi's fists collided, the ground centered on the two of them suddenly collapsed, dense cracks spread out, and a circular shock wave spread, directly knocking over Uzumaki Naruto and his group who were watching outside the field. You guys step back. Might Guy stood there and gave the instructions without turning his head, his eyes still fixed on the two people in the field. Uzumaki, Naruto and the others still wanted to stand still stubbornly, but the violent shaking and continuous exploding air waves made it impossible for them to stand still. Bang, bang, bang. After a crazy collision, Shihouin Naraku and Hitaki Kakashi's fists and kicks flew, and their bodies jumped and changed quickly, entangled together and difficult to distinguish their identities. Boom. Shihouin Naraku suddenly stomped his foot on the ground, and a terrifying force poured out, like the power of a giant. In an instant, the ground collapsed into a huge pit, and smoke and dust rose into the air, covering the surroundings. A strong wind blew towards him, and Hitaki Kakashi's hair stood on end. He dodged it by jumping over several times in an instant. However, the storm caused by the strange power still swept Hitaki Kakashi into the air, and his hands quickly formed seals. Fire-style Great Fireball Technique. Chakra surged in his throat, and the next second a huge fireball burst out of Hitaki Kakashi's mouth and blasted down towards where Shihouin Naraku was. A hot breath swept up, but Hitaki Kakashi still did not end his actions. He knew clearly that he could not defeat Naraku in this way. So after releasing the Great Fireball, he quickly formed seals with his hands again. Wind-style Great Breakthrough Technique. A large amount of whirlwind suddenly spit out from Hitaki Kakashi's mouth, and the whirlwind quickly grew into a storm in the air. Fire takes advantage of the wind, and wind helps the fire. The great fireball that had originally fallen with a loud bang, with the help of the storm, its momentum soared wildly. The fiercely burning fireball expanded several times, and the heat wave that was enough to burn the earth poured towards the surroundings, and the smell of scorching heat came towards us. The audience outside couldn't help swallowing their saliva, as if the blazing flames had already burned in front of them. Boom! As if it had no time to react, the wild fireball smashed to the ground and exploded, releasing its own powerful flames to burn and scorch everything around it. Escaped. Didn't dodge. Brother Naraku is dead. Most of the people watching the fight watched in horror as a powerful fireball landed on Shihouin Naraku. Only a few people frowned and looked at the flames that were still burning fiercely, without saying anything. Who? Hitachi Kakashi fell to the ground with rapid breathing. Although the two consecutive ninjutsu just now were both sea level, their power could be increased according to the amount of chakra, and Kakashi had indeed consumed a lot of chakra just now. Kacha, Papa, Dong. In the burning flames, a figure was surrounded by dancing flames, and the footsteps sounded like drumbeats, stepping out firmly and powerfully with each step being sonorous and powerful. Hitachi Kakashi's pupils were shaking wildly. He was clearly hit by the ninjutsu just now. Why didn't the fire style cause any damage at all? There were still flickering flames on the corners of his clothes, but as he walked slowly, they all went out one by one, and Shihouin Naraku's clothes didn't even have the slightest wrinkle. Here it comes. Bang! As if teleporting, Shihouin Naraku stepped down, but the moment he landed he had already reached Hitachi Kakashi's side and kicked him away. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audio Wave to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.